Fair enough.
How's it going, Football Daily family, and welcome back to another fan hour. This one is for the Premier League final day of the season. We're going to be doing a watch along as well. We've got Chris Ham, we've got Patrick Van Straten on the main sofa. We are watching it through Now TV. You can get your Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass by clicking the link in the description below. We've managed to secure you 25% off as well. It is well worth clicking, so do that before you do anything else. But it's not just us three here. We've also got Social Corner, as we have every single time we do a watch along.
Yep, Adam and I are here answering your burning questions. So if you want the boys to discuss anything, tweet them in using the hashtag FanHour and we'll make sure your questions are heard.
Yeah, but before we go into the questions, we actually have some breaking news. Apparently, Martial was supposed to play for United today, but he drove away from Old Trafford. Is this the end of Martial?
Wow.
What do you guys think?
Is this the end of Anthony Martial?
By the way, I'm not just looking off into the distance. We actually have the last 5 minutes of Celtic versus Aberdeen on. And this... Oh, no! Oh, Scott Brown header cleared off the line. No,
You
wasn't
you can be getting that excited by clicking the link in the description below. So that's a great little plug there. But anyway, go back to Anthony Martial. Look, Jose Mourinho said last week, didn't he, that Anthony Martial would be playing today. And whether that was starting or on the bench and coming on, he wasn't too clear about. But either way, it's obviously a problem that he's not been involved in the squad, driven away, not injured. I mean, and we're starting with Rashford up top and I believe Sanchez, although we are playing the sold 11 today, so...
Yeah. Putting players in the shop window.
Yeah, Bliss and Darmian both playing.
Go on then, take us through the lineup. Who's coming in place of Martial?
Let me get the team up. What's your opinion first on Anthony Martial, Pato? Do you think he's going to stay or go while I find the team?
I don't know. I mean, like, he's such a good asset to have at the club that it would seem weird if you were to let him go this summer. But on the other hand, like, Mourinho and Martial now seems to be pretty obviously an unworkable combination of people. By the way, we've just seen that the keeper actually needs that onto the post. It's incredible. But yeah, I don't know. If I were Man United, I'd be thinking right now about how I could leverage that into getting another asset of comparable worth. So, for instance, I'd be looking at, say I wanted Aaron Ramsey off Arsenal, I'd be going to them. They want Willian. I think that swapping Martial for Willian would be really dumb. But if he's someone that Mourinho wants, then you've got to decide who you're going to back. Is Martial more important to have at the club than Mourinho?
I feel like the relationship with Martial and Mourinho has become untenable, and that might not act in their favour when trying to offload him to an extent. After the Brighton loss, he just dropped Martial and Rashford, didn't he? Yes, Rashford probably should have squared that one-on-one to Martial. I mean, he definitely should have.
Definitely.
But it doesn't exactly foster better, surely, performances from your youth.
No, definitely not.
When you don't put that level of confidence in them.
100%. Although Rashford's come back into the team today, I'll let you know the team now. It is Sergio Romero in goal. Darmian. I think we're playing another 3-5-2. That looks to be our back end of the season performance team. Obviously, Mourinho is testing stuff out before the start of next season. So he's got Darmian at right back, Bailly, Rojo, Blind as his centre halves, Young as his left wing back, and then midfield, Carrick, obviously captain in the team today. This will be his final ever game for Manchester United. Jose said he would start him and then take him off before the end of the match to give him a big round of applause. And then we've got Mata playing just off Alexis Sanchez and Rashford up front, by the looks of it. So an exciting front line, I think we can all agree. Mata, Alexis and Rashford, that's exciting. The back line, nobody really cares about because half of them are leaving. But I think for Martial, he's in a sticky situation. He's got a problem in the form of Alexis Sanchez, isn't he? And Alexis Sanchez is always going to be Jose's number one ahead of him, given the wages he's on and how and when he bought him. So I don't really know what you would do if you were Martial, because I don't see where he could go. I think that's a problem issue. You're not going to want to recoup a lot of that 50, 60 million. And I don't know where he's going to spend 50, 60 million on it.
I mean, I don't think he'd be any short of suitors. I mean, Juventus have now got Douglas Costa. He's pretty much like for like, isn't he? And, you know, maybe Allegri potentially leaving will kind of throw their summer recruitment plan into doubt. PSG potentially, but
Yeah.
again, they've got a surplus of wide talent. You'd think they'd at least have to offload Draxler before they brought in someone like Martial, but they're going to command sizable fees, aren't they? The outcasts at PSG. Angel Di Maria started a lot of games towards the tail end of the season, but maybe because Neymar was injured.
Seen a lot of reports linking him over the last few days to
Real
Atletico
Madrid?
to Atletico Madrid.
Atletico Madrid will make a lot of sense. I mean, if they lose Griezmann, then they're going to be flush with cash, and they're going to need somebody who can play in that kind of tweener role between the wing and the centre forward position. I mean, actually, a club that would really suit him if they had a better coach right now. If they still had Tuchel, then you'd say Dortmund would be really good because they've got tons of money still from Ousmane Dembele. They need somebody to replace Royce in the long term, and he's exactly the sort of player who you can build your side around going forward.
Yeah.
I mean, Paris Saint-Germain would make sense to me if they think that Mbappe is going to become a centre forward for them, because there are rumours that Cavani could move on. He's been linked with moves back to Italy, been linked with a move to Chelsea as well. So you could sort of see how they make space for that, and it certainly seems like they're going to target French talent this summer because we're hearing about £100 million on the table for N'Golo Kante as well. So I don't know. I mean, Martial won't be short of suitors, but like you say, it's difficult to think of teams who can afford him who Man United would be willing to sell to. That's the issue.
I don't think they want to sell Premier League, that's for sure.
No.
Although, like, big clubs are now willing to deal with big clubs in the same league more often than ever, aren't they?
Sure.
Yeah, that's true. Should we get another question then? After that
Yeah,
last?
sorry.
Maybe Napoli. Napoli would be great.
I'm a little
Dries
bit
Mertens
distracted.
getting old.
Yeah.
If Insigne gets a big move,
Let's get another question.
Before we go to another question, though, people are updating us in the chat. Basically, apparently Martial's girlfriend's gone into labour, and that's why he's on. So it was a waste of a first question, really.
Well done to the journalist that mugged us off with that report. Thanks a lot.
We'll move on to
we like to cover all angles. That was a hypothetical.
We'll
and Aberdeen have beat Celtic. Marvellous. Right, let's get into this.
We'll move on to the next game.
Right, guys, remember you can stream the final day of the Premier League season with a 25% off the Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. Just click in the link in the description below. But our first question comes from Oliver Crockford, who says, how does this City team compare to other greats like the Arsenal Invincibles and Guardiola's Barcelona?
This is interesting. I mean, I had this conversation with Akin Femor on our hot takes.
Name drop.
So, I don't know. I don't know about versus Guardiola's Barcelona, but certainly the numbers they're putting up are comparable with Guardiola's best sides at Bayern Munich and Barcelona. And they're doing it without Messi, which is pretty impressive. I don't know. The problem is it's very hard to compare teams now to teams from the past because everybody has that sense of nostalgia, right, for great sides. And I think when you go man for man, I'm not sure there are as many all-time greats in this Man City team. I mean, I guess we'll find out in the long term, as there were in the Invincibles, as there were in Man United's 1999 team. However, the football they're playing is as dominant at both ends of the field as any football we've ever seen in the Premier League. They're both the best defensive side in the league and the best attacking side. They're still somehow incredibly exciting to watch. I don't know. I certainly think that they've been like a step forward, and I'm really glad that Pep Guardiola has kind of proved all the idiots who said that he can do it in England wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I was just watching the end of the Aberdeen game because the bloke's just been sent off after the full-time whistle.
Yeah,
Patting the badge as he gets escorted off by policemen.
After securing second place.
Yeah.
This is pathetic. It's like a cup final for Aberdeen, which is, they've all got inferiority
Where's that guy's
complexes
neck?
still.
That's pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I think this era of the Premier League is the most competitive, hands down, isn't it? So the fact that they are annihilating all the competition when there is this calibre of manager and player in the Premier League is, for me, more impressive than the achievements that came beforehand. I know Arsenal went unbeaten. There was a lot of draws in that season,
12.
though, wasn't there? And Manchester City, in terms of entertainment, if you're a purist, to get 100 points in the Premier League, I don't think many of the team's achievements stack up to that. Leroy Sané and Kevin De Bruyne both on 15 assists as well going into the final day of the season. Who do we think will be their lead creator come the end? There's a nice little subplot.
Maybe Leroy Sané. I actually think Leroy Sané.
What a strong finish of the season
Somebody actually tweeted me yesterday saying, do you think Leroy Sané or Mbappe is the superior young player? And like this season, it's hard to argue against Sané. Playing in a more competitive league, and so consistently performing in that Man City team. It's hard to argue he's like the outstanding young player in world football right now.
He has had long periods out of the team, though. I mean, he's
one young player as well, right?
Yeah, which I think was probably a little bit generous. Look, I think he's a remarkable player, but he certainly hasn't been as important to Man City as Raheem Sterling this season. And also the rules on what constitutes a young player in the Premier League are so stupid. You're getting Harry Kane nominated, who's 25. That's not a young player. Yeah. That's somebody in their prime. Yeah, I don't know. I love Leroy Sané, and he's kind of the player who's most reminiscent of the young Cristiano Ronaldo to me. You know, when you think that he's 6 foot tall, he's incredibly fast, he's 2-footed, he can score, he can create, he's incredibly he's one of 9 players across Europe who've got into double figures for goals and assists this season in the league. I mean, he's quite a special talent, and bear in mind, he's 22.
Going back to the question about teams, though, I think he also mentioned the Barcelona team, Pep's Barcelona team.
Sure.
How does that stack up against this one? And for me, I would take Pep's Barcelona team over this current Manchester City team. I think because mainly that it defined a style of football. I think not that this one doesn't, and it's an extremely lovely team to watch, isn't it? But that Barcelona team was just unplayable, like literally unplayable. You couldn't get the ball off them. And I know City have battered teams this season, but that Barcelona team with a Lionel Messi in it, just for me, pips this City team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was also Pep's, I think, his first side were very different to the side that he left as well.
Yeah.
So that 2009 team, was it, that beat you in the Champions League final?
Yes.
Were a little bit more physical. They got the ball up the pitch a little bit more quickly.
Yeah.
They're a little more direct. And then that sort of evolved into this kind of total football side that maybe kind of rendered certain games a little bit obsolete because of their dominance. I remember Gary Neville actually saying he preferred the first Pep team to the team when Pep left, which is kind of is an interesting debate, and I'm still not entirely sure. So yeah, even within that Barcelona setup, there's a debate as to whether which side was the more entertaining. But I mean, Pep's Man City side, their only shortcoming has been in Europe, hasn't it? So let's see what they do next season, and then maybe when he leaves in 2 or 3 years' time, that'll be better to reflect.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to perform in Europe next season. Anyway, before we go to our next question, we've got a quick VT with Patrick Van Straten here. Yes, that's right, it's Hot Takes. Let's have a look.
Hello FD Squad, and welcome back to a special episode of Hot Takes, courtesy of our friends at Now TV, with a very special guest. Look who it is.
Ooh, I love the intro. What's going on? It's Adiba Rakinfenwa, aka The Beast. Hey, yo, thank you for having me, my brother.
Oh, you're welcome, mate. Let's get right into your stupid opinions. Robbie Welch, he says, outside of Messi, no one is better than Wilfried Zaha at beating players. I mean, where to start with this one? I just feel like you maybe haven't watched enough football. There's a little guy called Neymar. You might want to check him out. He's quite good. There's a guy called Adama Traore who might actually have the cheat codes for dribbling past people. I don't really know. He's completing about 9 dribbles a game this season, which are numbers so ridiculous that you wonder if he knows how football works. He might think it's a whole different sport. I mean, look, Wilfried Zaha is a very good dribbler. I think he's had a really good season, even though I'm not his greatest fan. But I think that Eden Hazard's a better dribbler than him. Obviously, Messi's a better dribbler than him. Neymar, Felipe Anderson. I could go on all day. But to be honest, mate, I just assume you're a Crystal Palace fan and just enjoy the fact you've stayed up against all the odds and stop trying to tell me that Wilfried Zaha is one of the best players in the world. Just be quiet, shut your mouth.
Shine innocence. With Iniesta gone, Messi will not win another Champions League trophy at Barcelona. Let's take a moment of silence for the dumbness. Okay, look. Iniesta, he's that guy. He's my guy as well, and I'm sad to see him go. But to say the only reason Messi is doing what he's doing and winning his accolades and his achievements is because of Iniesta, let's again take a moment of silence. Back on. Ridiculous. I'm sorry, and I don't really say that. If you know the beast, you know the beast is about positivity and love. But this tweet now, my brother, is wrong. Please delete the tweet. Anyway, I'm done with it. Peace and love. I'm gonna punch it. Cool. Say no more. Say no more. This one goes out to Liam Stewart. Straight away, I don't like you. Straight away, I don't. And I don't say that much, but I don't like you. This is your tweet. In the modern game, strength has no importance whatsoever. It's all about fast, competent passers who can dictate the tempo of play. Ooh. Donut. Sorry, don't know. Let me tell you something. Look, this is what it is about the mindset. Everybody wants to try and put people in a box, and you're trying to say the game should only be one way. No. Football's about different strengths and abilities. So like I'm saying, strength, bam! Huh? Bam! You know what I'm saying? Look, real talk, and you may throw something back like, oh yeah, you're playing in League 2. No, League 1 now. Bam! No, listen, this is what makes me laugh out here. You know what I'm saying? Look, strength plays a part. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can be Messi, but then not everybody can be the beast. Yeah.
Fair point.
You see what I did there?
I don't want to look, mate. It's making me feel bad about myself as a man.
Listen, no, I think
Can we
that's
stop
wrong of yours. I don't like that. I don't like the view because it's small-minded. Well, the best team have a blend of everything. So strength has a massive importance. That's somebody who's got 98 strength telling you, bam! Say no more. Let's move on swiftly. Take the phone back before I break it.
So thank you very much to Adebayo Akinfenwa for coming along and doing hot takes with us today. I think you can all agree that your opinions were particularly stupid this week. Now this weekend it's the last day of the Premier League season, so make sure you watch along with us on our live stream. And of course, check the link in the description below for 25% off a Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. Thanks for watching.
Who's been winning on that poll?
Again, it's no surprise. It's Pep Guardiola with 49%. Rafa and Roy share 5%.
It's 35%.
Yeah.
Are we talking about that now? Is that our cue to talk about it?
No, we've got some more
Oh, I've got
polls. We've
more.
got some more
Okay,
polls.
fair.
Trying to steal the thunder, you know, but it's all about the polls. We've got some more going on Twitter, so have your say in unsung hero of the season and my favourite, fan of the season.
Ooh.
FD fan of the season.
Big one.
Come on,
There's
Swagger
a
Toe.
secret prize for that one, so have your say on Twitter. But Temps, what is our next question?
Our next question is from Dimitri. He wants to know, what do Chelsea need to do over the summer to be title contenders next season?
Ooh, probably not sell Alvaro Morata to Juventus would be a start, which is what is heavily talked about this morning. I think that'd be a terrible move. Just because he's hurt his back and hasn't had a good back end of the season. Whichever manager comes in will want Alvaro Morata in that team.
Yeah, especially if it's Massimo Allegri, which he's being, like I said prior, touted to leave quite heavily, isn't he? After 4 back-to-back doubles in Serie A, which is incredible. You can imagine him wanting a new challenge, can't you? And the two teams he's been touted to leave for are Arsenal and Chelsea. We've discussed this in previous shows. I'd like Conte to leave. It looks like that's an untenable situation. He goes to Arsenal. Allegri goes to Chelsea. If he's had him at Juventus, no doubt he'll keep Morata, and then we'll have a little, Italian vendetta dynamic. But I think, the number one target has to be to get a high caliber manager. They have, like Conte, he came in pragmatist, isn't he? He tinkered with the parts, didn't necessarily get the players that he wanted, namely Romelu Lukaku. Who did he want this season? The left back from Juventus.
Alexandro.
He wanted Alexandro, didn't get him either, did he?
England as well, I think he was after.
Rogue move from him, especially in that midfield three. But yeah, they need to go after a manager that maybe doesn't need to make wholesale changes. Just bring a couple of stellar signings in, because Roman Abramovich, I think, has made a point of curbing his spending habits of late, hasn't he? What do you reckon, mate? While I finish this off.
I think Allegri would make a lot more sense than Sarri for them, because what they've actually done is they've built a squad which is really reliant on a wing-back depth. Like they've got guys in their side who you would not want playing full-back, but are very good wing-backs. And so if you get a guy in who wants to play a back four, then I think you are going to have to do quite a lot of rebuilding. Moses is not a full right-back. He's a good right wing-back. Alonso's a good left wing-back. Emerson's a good left wing-back. These are guys who are going to work best in a 3-at-the-back system.
Emerson's more well-rounded than Alonso, right? I think that's quite interesting.
He is more well-rounded, but he's still not really played that much.
Alonso's been great in the opposition's box this season, where he's not particularly adept at sort of one-on-one defensive situations, whereas I think Emerson Palmieri is. So while people have questioned the Emerson signing, I actually think if they can get him back up to that level he was just playing before he get injured at Roma, they might have one of the best fullbacks in the league. On that.
I couldn't agree more. I'm a big fan of Emerson, and he is still recovering from that injury, I think. But yeah, I think you've got to look at the squad you've got, and if you want to immediately compete next year, you've got to pick somebody who works for that squad. So actually, a Nagelsmann, I think, would even make more sense than a Sarri, even though I think Sarri might be, a better manager in absolute terms. Plus, they need to do some squad surgery. Fabregas is now pretty old. They don't have a lot of creativity in that midfield. Otherwise, they're going to be incredibly reliant on Hazard. So I would probably look for somebody to take the right wing position who's got some creative ability. With Florian Thauvin out there, with Nabil Fekir out there, these are guys who would work really well coming off the right wing, goals and assists. Pedro is 30, Willian is 29. It might be a good idea to try and get some money back for those and then invest heavily on the right wing.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. I think the manager choice is going to be so interesting for Chelsea over the summer. I agree. I think Conte is all but gone. It seems like Allegri is going to go to Arsenal, quite frankly, following the reports over the last few days. It's basically between him and Arteta now, it feels like, doesn't it, as the two outstanding
You'd have done
candidates.
extremely well if you get Allegri.
So, I don't know where Chelsea turn. If they don't get Allegri, I don't really see Sarri as an Abramovich-type manager. I wonder whether he might go for a Simeone. I wonder whether he might put all his cards on the table and go after Simeone this summer.
I mean, I also think that it's not totally out of the question him going back to Carlo Ancelotti.
No, surely not.
Abramovich doesn't mind revisiting former managers, does he? Like in the form of, albeit not in permanent roles, with Hiddink, Jose. So yeah, maybe a trusted statesman for a year.
I think they need another central defender as well, to be brutally honest. I'm not convinced about Gary Cahill's role in that Chelsea squad anymore. I think...
Well, neither is Conte, he's been benched, hasn't
Yeah,
I think we'd agree that Rudiger's been better than you expect, though, and Christensen looked excellent.
for sure. But this depends whether he plays a back three or a back two, I guess. But if he plays a back three and you've got Christensen, you've got Rudiger, you've got... Who else is still there?
They've still got David Luiz, they've got
Gary Cahill,
Azpilicueta,
David Luiz and Azpilicueta.
Alonso can, of course, play centre-back.
I don't see David Luiz and Gary Cahill being there past this summer. Or if I do, certainly not both of them. I think one of them will go, probably David Luiz.
I think David Luiz is manager dependent, right? Because he is clearly just fell out with Conte.
And Gary Cahill has been very publicly hammered by Chelsea fans for the entirety of this season. So I think that another signing in defence wouldn't be the worst option for them at centre-half. But I agree with Pato that Fabregas 2.0 in a younger form, I think, is key to be found and not an easy position to find.
Remember when Isco was available for like 25 million and Tottenham were going to sign him? He would be, what a signing he'd be for Chelsea, but obviously he is now an integral part to Real Madrid.
Yeah, not going to get him out of there. I don't really know who they would go for, to be brutally honest, Chelsea in that central midfield.
Well, you want somebody who can be a physical presence in midfield whilst also...
Milinkovic-Savic, maybe?
See, that's maybe, but he plays in a much more aggressive position. Like he's often pushed up into a second striker position for Lazio.
Yeah.
While he can do the all-rounder midfield thing, I'm not sure that's necessarily what I'd go for. What you ideally want is a 5 years younger Radia Nainggolan. That is who you want. Yeah. He can create, he can defend, he can pass, he can score goals.
Or Bakayoko to be the player that they bought him
That's just what I was about to say. Yeah.
No, he was never a goal scorer. I mean, like Bakayoko's never going to be that guy. That's not what you want. I think actually Ramsey would suit them better than a Bakayoko.
I'm not sure. Bakayoko, in the games I've watched this season, has been okay at getting into goal-scoring positions. It's just been...
Well, do you think this is why they
end product?
I agree that he gets into positions, but I think that's a tactical thing.
Do you think that's why they bought Ross Barkley? And Ross I know Ross Barkley is not the player he potentially was once billed to be, and he is now a backup role. But that esque player, that sort of midfielder who can burst from midfield, carry the ball past a couple of players, and then join in the box with those late runs, I think that's the player that they want to sign. But thought Ross Barkley could do it. Obviously, he's not quite at the level of that player.
That was the weirdest signing of January. And I don't think he has a long-term future at Chelsea.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the less said about Ross Barkley, I think the better.
Aaron Ramsey would be a great signing for Chelsea.
But he also can't stay fit. I mean, this is the thing with Ross Barkley. Hasn't been able to prove his fitness for over a year now. And Aaron Ramsey hasn't been able to stay fit for 5 years. I mean... to be honest, Danny Drinkwater is not the worst player, but they don't seem to have any faith in him. And he's actually pretty good at playing a bunch of roles in the midfield. He just doesn't seem glamorous enough for Chelsea fans. I think that's honestly the issue with Drinkwater. I
actually think Fekir has been linked with Liverpool pretty heavily of late. We discussed that over on Continental Club. I actually think he'd be a great signing for Chelsea as well. in this. He'd be an upgrade on Pedro. Pedro's getting no younger. Chelsea have lacked goals this season, haven't they? If Giroud hasn't made an impact from the bench, or if Morata's not been firing on all cylinders. Pedro had that great 30-game streak under Conte, but I think they need to upgrade their wide talent as well, especially if they're going to continue to play Hazard through the middle, or Hazard leaves if Chelsea don't get Champions League
Hazard
football.
leaves, then they've got a serious rebuild job.
Have plenty of money to do it with, though.
Yeah, they would if he goes to Madrid.
He wouldn't go for anything short of 150, would he? But yeah, it's going to be Chelsea. I think will be quite tumultuous, even. I said that wrong.
Tumultuous.
He's a character in
Mr.
a thing, isn't he?
No,
yeah, this summer. Big time.
Next question.
Yep, guys, not long until kickoff, so remember you can get 25% off a Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass if you click in the link in the description below. But our next question comes from Hanshell N, and he wants to know, considering the importance of short-term success now, is Wenger's departure the end of long-term managers?
Ooh, that's a wicked question.
Do you want to pick this one up?
I think it just changes what a long-term manager is. I mean, there are plenty of managers who've been at their club for a decent length of time. And actually, I think clubs are also getting better at how they evaluate managers. So when somebody has one season of underperformance, I think they're less likely to get fired than they were, say, 10 years ago, because clubs have different ways of assessing their manager's performance other than just where they are in the table, right? When you look at someone like Allegri's actually been at Juve for a pretty long time. Pochettino, he's been at Spurs for a while. Like, these are guys who I think we will probably have like 5 to 6 years at a club, and that's actually a pretty decent length of time, and has been a pretty decent length of time for about 20 years. So all it does is it changes what the absolute top level is. But generally, I think that the days of people getting fired after one season in the Premier League, when they've just done a half-decent job, I think those are probably coming to an end, actually. I think there's a middle ground to be found. Yeah, and I also think that, kind of relating to what you were saying, clubs are a little bit more clued up in that area than ever before, and the sort of failure of De Boer at Palace is probably only going to sort of re-emphasise that, especially in the sort of the bottom rungs of the Premier League. Like, managers, clubs now know that they need to give a new manager time to either and the resources to recruit players to fit their systems, or recruit. If you're Palace, recruiting Hodgson, smart move, because it's not a total gear change from a Pulis setup, but De Boer was. So yeah, I think you'll see smart hires in the Premier League.
Yeah,
I'm just watching a sales parade. Sorry.
I actually kind of agree with. Who was the question from, by the way? I actually kind of agree because Anshul. I actually don't think you'll ever see. Well, it would be a complete freak for it to happen. I don't think you'll see another manager do sort of 10, 15 years in a job. I think for a number of reasons. The main being that. I don't want to say it, but like the lucrative nature of other clubs tempting managers out of their current club is now so much different to what it once was. I'm sure that Sir Alex Ferguson had offers when he first started at Manchester United, but if, let's say, he was managing now, 5 years in, and a Real Madrid came in for Sir Alex Ferguson to the tune of trebling his wage and offering him a huge signing on bonus, he might well have been more tempted to go. I just think that, number one, lucrative nature. Number two, clubs are completely ruthless because of the amount of money involved. And yeah, I just don't think. I think the game's evolved past long-term managers being at a club for a long amount of time.
And the manager's not going to be as important to say Arsenal as Wenger once was when you start to employ a director of football, when you start to have better scouts, better people identifying talent. When you take away that side of the manager's position, which was long a problem at Arsenal, wasn't it? Then it makes them more replaceable. Thus, shorter lifespan.
Next question.
Next question is from a Football Daily Fan of the Season nominee, Swagator.
Classic.
Legend.
Absolute legend. What are your thoughts on Rooney's move to the MLS? Is it the right time, and will he be a success?
I think it's probably the right time for Wayne. I don't really think the Everton move was the smartest, I'll be completely honest. He didn't fit in that Everton team at all. Everton signed, 3 or 4 attacking midfielders that all wanted to play in that number 10 role this summer. Wayne was one of them. He obviously probably came in on the largest wage as well.
150k?
Yeah, and he's not performed to the level that warrants £150,000, especially when you've got Gylfi Sigurdsson also wanting to play in there. You've got Klaassen also wanted to play in there as well, didn't he? Ross Barkley wanted to play in there when he first joined as well. He's now left. So I think it was either that he left or Sam Allardyce changed his system. I don't think Big Sam's going to change his system, and sadly enough, Wayne Rooney playing deep in a midfield too doesn't work. So he had to leave. Where he goes, I don't see anywhere else in Europe, certainly not the Premier League, that are going to bump up £150,000 a week or £100,000 a week for a now ageing Wayne Rooney who wants to play in a floating number 10 role, and he's not really good enough to play there. So
people are even questioning the move over in the States, aren't they? I saw on your Twitter timeline.
So only the MLS was his only really viable option, unless he wanted to go to a China or an India, and I don't think he's quite that old yet.
No, but as in, I think people are questioning what sort of impact he's going to have.
Oh, yeah, it's an odd move.
In the States too, is it?
But
is he going to be worth the money they're paying him?
I actually think he probably will be. For whichever club picks him up. Not even just down to on the field input though. Not even just down to on the field input. Whichever club he joins, be it DC United or be it somebody else, immediately sees a massive boost in commercial revenue. Immediately sees a massive boost in fan support. Like I wouldn't have, not that I hadn't heard of DC United, but before pre-Wayne Rooney links, I couldn't have told you a single thing about DC United. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me being ignorant, but I think that a lot of clubs over there. I think a lot of clubs over there are more interested than just on the field stuff.
Yeah,
That's
I think
the reason they sign players like Wayne Rooney.
I think it's pretty clear, that the calculus for MLS clubs at the moment is weighted towards kind of commercial revenue versus actual success on the field. However, I think that what DC United will want from Wayne Rooney is for him to be scoring goals, and as a result, they might play him as an actual centre forward and not require him to play around. And you know what? He'll still be good. Wayne Rooney, like his technique hasn't gone. He's still 2-footed, good in the air, really good finisher. I reckon he'll get a decent number of goals to him. I have no reason to believe he won't. The only problem is when he drops deep. So actually, I think he might well be a success on the field as well. However, the question is, could they have done better with that money? And yeah, probably they could. Who,
DC United?
Yeah, there are people like Diego Valeri who've gone there and been a huge success in the MLS. And similarly, you think about people who are going to China. A lot of those people, if MLS can offer them similar wages, would probably prefer to go to the US. So someone like Jonathan Vieira, is one of the best creators in Europe. He obviously went off from Las Palmas to China. And he might be somebody who'd be a better long-term investment for them. But in terms of like growing their reputation internationally, growing their fan base across the world, Rooney certainly seems like a sensible move. And I kind of would like for him to be, I don't know, for him to end his career like a hero, given that he's now becoming a little bit of a joke.
Big Sam has actually come out and said that Rooney hasn't asked to leave, which was first reported/purported. But I struggle to see him getting back into the current Everton setup, especially if Big Sam kind of perseveres with this 4-1-4-1 that he's been playing. Especially with talents like Lookman out on loan at RB Leipzig, who has absolutely banged at the end of the season. 7 starts, 5 goals, 3 assists. I think he's creating 2 chances a game in a very limited amount of minutes as well. And this was someone who was deemed surplus to requirements. He's now doing it for a side competing for Champions League football. And he's fresh, youthful, exuberant, all the things that Wayne Rooney kind of isn't. Bolassi's come back from injury. Allardyce quite likes Vlasic. He's going to, like I said, he's going to persevere with Idrissa Gueye and Schneidlin.
He's got Tosin up top right as well.
Yeah, and Tosin's has been okay. He's been the player they brought him in to be, a target man when they fall short of inspiration. But Wayne Rooney, it's the same has been happening as to what happened at the end of his career at United. He's been dropping further and further back to the point where he's out of the team. But I think, I like Atalanta's, not Atalanta, they're the Serie A side, Atlanta's model in the MLS, where they've kind of invested in young talents and it's paid dividends. Zlatan, yes, there's a lot of commercial buzz around him. Him and LA, the perfect partners, aren't they? But yeah, I kind of Wayne Rooney. I don't know if he's just done.
No, I hope not. Anyway, I hope not, because he's an absolute English legend. Let's get another question then, because we've got 15 minutes till kick-off.
Well, keep sending us your questions on Twitter using the hashtag #FanHour. But our next one comes from Sari, and he wants to know what has been the best match of the season.
Ooh. Maurizio Sarri, hopefully sending that question.
Probably a goal, probably a game involving Man City and Liverpool, right?
The 4-3 was pretty special.
Either or, yeah. I mean,
I'm actually going to go for Manchester United 3-2 City at the Etihad when we came back.
Ugh, of course you are.
the last live stream.
You're tedious.
Were you
Well,
there?
jokes aside, that
Of
was
course
a
you
hell
were.
of a game.
It was a very good game.
But
I'm actually really
one good side.
I'm actually really bad at remembering like specific ties because you just after a while when you watch so much football they kind of just merge into one, don't they?
I mean, we've had four. I'm eating, but four Man City versus Liverpool games and 2 Napoli versus Man City games. Pretty good season.
Yeah, most of the great games I can remember this season came in the Champions League. I think Juventus versus Spurs in particular, the calibre of those 2 legs, the competitiveness of them, and the sort of drama within them, that was like pure football. Hooked me up to that shizzle.
I actually think as well, Liverpool City in the Champions League at Anfield was a better game than
Is that a
at
3-1?
Etihad.
3-0.
3-0?
What about Spurs beating Real Madrid 3-1 at Wembley? That was an amazing game.
Yeah, that was.
Weren't you at that?
Fantastic.
I've made that up.
I think I was at that. Yeah, I was at that game. Shambles.
So maybe not one of the best games of the season because it's clearly not that memorable. But
No.
still, but that was an amazing game. I mean, that was like, to me, that could have been a real like coming out party for Pochettino as one of the best managers in the world. I think that if he goes to Real Madrid in a year or two, then people will be talking about that as the moment that Real Madrid decided they had to hire him.
Yeah, and maybe Celtic 5, Rangers 1. Just
When was that? Last weekend?
What about Burnley-Everton, eh?
Burnley-Everton.
What a game. Higher quality of play than in the Old Firm derby.
Do you remember Burnley-Palace at the start of the season when Palace had like 25 shots and Burnley won 1-0? That was
What about Arsenal versus, on a similar note, Arsenal versus Man United?
Oh, that was a great game.
When Man
actually.
United
We were
won
the
at the
pub for that.
Emirates, but having that early lead meant that Arsenal just peppered them with shots, and you got to see, I mean, as close as you could get to a masterclass in goalkeeping, outside of that Neville Southall video with Michael Owen.
Do you want to know the best part about that game? I actually sent Joe to the wrong pub and he missed both United goals and subsequently only came in to watch Arsenal pepper United for the next 70 minutes.
But nothing makes him happier to watch Man United be second best and win nonetheless.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I actually prefer that we were on the ropes the entire game and then won with a scrappy 1-0. Yeah. We just battered a team 5-0.
I get that. An undeserved victory is delightful.
100%.
Every victory Arsenal have ever had over Burnley, except the one last year we beat them 5-0, we've won with like a handball or like a penalty that shouldn't have been. And it's been delightful every time watching them get angry.
That actually might have been one of the best goalkeeping performances I've ever seen on a football field. All jokes aside, that David De Gea, I think there was about 4 or 5 incredible saves.
Yeah, wasn't expected goals for that game like 5-2 to Arsenal.
5-2 to Arsenal. And I think I'd actually go further. I mean, obviously my experience is not that extensive, but I think this is the best season I've ever seen from a goalkeeper.
It's up there, isn't it? Some of his numbers you were talking about on Sunday Vibes, right? Expected goals. What is it?
He saved 14 goals for Man United this season. More than Nick Pope.
What's the nearest?
God on his side.
What's the nearest to him?
Nick Pope this season.
I wonder what
Nick Pope, but the drop off after Nick Pope is pretty amazing.
He's down to like 4.
I think even Edison's only like positive 0.4, right? And De Gea's plus 13, which means he's effectively saved 13 goals, which he had no right to save. When you sort of tot up all the shots, incredible shots, he's stopped.
I'd love to actually see Neuer's best performing season in terms of expected goals numbers.
Yeah, but I mean, as a Bayern goalkeeper, you're not going to face that many shots, right?
So same as Edison.
His strength lies into restarting play extremely quickly and very adeptly, doesn't it? But
yeah, like we've seen this with Edison, where they said that if every shot on target at the Etihad had gone in this season, City would still be top of the league. So it shows that it's hard to build up an expected goal difference there. That's why you see clubs like Burnley at the top of this, because they're constantly facing shots. But I don't know. Yeah, it's annoying, but you've gradually been proven right, over the last couple of years, where you were like, he's the best in the world. And I don't know if he necessarily was 2 years ago, but I think he certainly is now.
Yeah. Should we get the next question then from Social Corner?
Yeah, before our next question, we've only got 9 minutes until kick-off. So remember, you can stream the finale of the Premier League and get 25% off a Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass if you just click in the link in the description.
Get there eventually, Liv.
Thank you.
That's great. Our next question is from Khaled. I think this one might be directed towards Pat.
Oh, yeah?
Is Iwobi underrated? He's still only 21.
This is a loaded answer. He knows that you think Iwobi's underrated. You love Iwobi.
Yeah, Iwobi's really good. It's hard not to be underrated when people are saying, I saw a discussion between Arsenal fans on Twitter yesterday where they were talking about the worst players to play under Wenger, and someone said Iwobi. Iwobi's 21. Iwobi's 21, has great creative output.
But that isn't the starting point to a good debate, is it? He's the worst player to play under Wenger.
Yeah, but I mean, but it gives you an indication of what the
perception.
People's weird ideas about what he could be. I think when he plays on the right, he is genuinely not good. I think that's true of a lot of players. If they play on the wrong side, they're not that involved in the game. I think if you move Eden Hazard over to the right, he's still going to be excellent, but he's not going to be anywhere near the player that he is on the left.
So what's his best position then?
Playing off the left wing, because he can come inside and combine on his right foot. He's got quite an interesting range of abilities. He's reasonably quick. He's a good dribbler. He's got very good vision in the final third. Very good vision. However, he can occasionally be sloppy, and because he's 21, his decision making isn't always amazing. But his passing in the final third is truly exceptional. Last season, he was second in the league for successful passes into the penalty area after Ozil, and he actually had a higher success rate with those passes than Ozil did. Now, that's a really unusual thing to see in a player of that age, and it's a very kind of Wenger-y thing to see, right? Now, the question is obviously whether somebody who comes in after Wenger can teach him to press, can get the sloppiness out of his game. But in terms of raw ability, it's absolutely there, and to make a judgment about a player at 21 is just silly.
Pre-Oxlade-Chamberlain's injury, he was actually putting up better numbers. I think he'd created as many goals. He was having more shots per game. He's completing more dribbles per game. And people were talking about Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain as being reinvented since he left Arsenal. And Iwobi was putting up similar, if not better, output. So I do think with Iwobi, sometimes, and you just kind of intimated it, his decision making, some of the things he does are easier to criticise, hence why he maybe becomes a focal point when Arsenal, when things aren't going particularly well. But yeah, if what annoys me about him a little bit is he kind of slows up play when you're breaking.
He can do, but I think so can Ozil. I mean, a lot of players can do that.
Yeah, but just with a sloppy pass or a pass that's 3 or 4 yards behind a player. Yeah. But when he's got the ball and he's running with it from that left-hand side, you're right. He creates chances, doesn't he? I like him.
I find it extremely hard to think of players in the Premier League who are his age and as creative as he is. Yeah. The only one who really profiles like he does as a top quality creator at his age is Leroy Sané. And Leroy Sané is obviously better, but my point is that creative numbers like that in young players are actually really, really rare. You don't tend to see them that often. It's actually much more common to see goal scorers.
But you've got such a fickle fan base as well, which doesn't help. I mean, you can just look at Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain this season. Arsenal fans before the move were calling him every name under the sun about how appalling he was.
Which was also stupid. I also thought that
on
was
the football
silly.
pitch. He moves to Liverpool. Klopp uses him in a slightly different system and in a slightly different role, and suddenly he's a completely different player. So
he actually looked great at times for Arsenal as an auxiliary right wing back.
Yeah,
but Arsenal fans were still hammering it.
I think
before he left, they were delighted he'd been sold.
Well, we've got a silly fan base, but also we've been an incoherent side for a while now. So basically, what I'm saying is, Iwobi's got the tools to be a very good player, and it's silly to make a judgment on the player he will be before we see how the next manager develops that. So say somebody like Allegri came in, or even Arteta. I think that he will get opportunities in the team, and also you'll see him hit the years between 21 and 23. At 23, we'll know who he is.
Yeah, so we got 5 minutes till kickoff.
Boom.
Now, we are going to be watching the games and reacting to it. So if you want to watch along with us, make sure you hit the link in the description below. Get your Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass for 25% off. There's a lot of things that can happen, right? It's basically the top 4 race is what we're most interested in.
Yeah, so Liverpool, should they win and Tottenham lose, can actually finish 3rd. If they lose and Chelsea win, Europa League football at Anfield next season.
Unless they win the Champions League.
Unless they win the Champions League, would not be great, would it? And it might be a little bit boring, but further down in the Premier League, sort of mid-table, towards the bottom, each position is actually worth £2 million. So teams are going to be competing, from 7th downwards to sort of raise their stock. And I mean, unless Swansea score 9 goals and Southampton lose?
No, it can be a 5-goal swing though. So it can be like Swansea scored 5 and Southampton lose to City by 5. It could be a
One of those is substantially more probable than the other, though. Like I don't see.
definitely.
Swansea score 5 goals, then that will mean that I think they'd have scored something like, I don't know,
20%
maybe
of
like
their
20%.
season's goals.
Yeah,
like
Andre
18% of their season's goals in this one game.
Since re-signing for 18 million has failed to score. So, their big January signing hasn't
Nathan
hasn't
Dyer,
even netted,
Wayne
so.
Routledge.
Yeah, and there's
It's
also
not hopeful.
Arsene Wenger's final game of not just the season, of his career at Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about that, Patter?
I'm right.
Emotional.
I mean, we've done that to death, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where would you like to see him next?
Retirement.
Oh, no way. I'd like to see him join Chelsea.
No, I'd like to see him manage
So he
France.
comes
Manage
together,
France.
I don't think he's going to stay in club football. I don't think he's going to drop there just yet. But yeah, anyway, click the link, watch it along with us, because otherwise it won't really make sense when we're reacting to the goals. So let's get another question.
Right, so our Twitter poll decided that, unsurprisingly, Guardiola was manager of the season, but Jake wants to know, has Guardiola's great season overshadowed the achievements of Dyche, Benitez and Hodgson? What do you guys think?
Yeah, to an extent. We went out at 12, go and watch it after this.
Yeah.
Went out at 11, actually.
Apologies about the mics there.
Yeah, sound was not good this week. Like Joe said, sorry. I think Hodgson has done a really good job. I don't think he was ever candidate for manager of the season. I think Rafa Benitez is much more deserved because Palace basically had the players to get out of that situation, and an exceptional player in the context of the bottom 10 sides in Wilfried Zaha, who's completed the second most triples this season after Eden Hazard?
Yeah.
Possibly,
He's so important.
possibly even more. Yeah,
so
massively.
Vital. In fact, he might be the most vital player to
Yeah.
a team in world football.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure about world football.
Some claim.
I'd definitely say Premier League football. But Rafa Benitez, the job that man has done with that squad, didn't get any of his primary summer targets, had to take punts on people like Moreno from Borussia Dortmund, and then when he looked like a good player, he got injured. I'm not sure if they signed him on a permanent. I think he's featured of late. But Joselu up front, I think is still there.
God.
No, I think Iwobi Perez is now their top goal scorer. But, I mean, that's only because he's scored. He's had a little purple patch of late, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And who was the other manager? Sean Dyche?
Sean Dyche for me is the best of the rest.
Yeah?
Come on.
Yeah.
Being said.
I know that you boys feel like he's got incredibly lucky, and to an extent he has, but I think he signed really well in the summer. I think he actually turned a profit for Burnley, which is no mean feat given some of the players they produce. Although Michael Keane, that was a good
They
sale,
overpaid
wasn't
for him. Yeah.
No, I mean, to sign him from Manchester United for next to nothing and then shift him on to a club like Everton for £30 million, that's great business. And then to bring in a player like Tarkowski, I think he'd already been there a season before that.
From
but
Brentford.
still, to identify him and bring him in, Dyche was still there. So that's
To entrust him with filling that void,
to put
Ben Mee's been very good.
To put the faith in Nick Pope as well. I think after Tom Heaton's obviously serious injury at the start of the season, he could have got an emergency loan in, but he didn't.
They probably have the best goalkeeper cover at this point in the Premier League.
Yeah, which is pretty impressive.
Would you take Heaton at Arsenal?
Yeah, probably. Tom Heaton's a really good goalkeeper.
Yeah, I like him.
They both perform against
Chris Wood
expected
as well
goals
was a great
really well.
signing. And yes, I know that
Lennon's not particularly exciting.
I know that you think he's got lucky this season, but he does. I think he organises a defence better than any of the other sides outside the top 6.
I think Benitez does as well. Right. I mean, look, I really, seeing as we're watching Brighton, we might as well talk about it. I think Chris Hughton's done a great job. I've always liked Chris Hughton, and his team have played attractive football this season. They've been bold, and actually their defence has been really good. They've conceded fewer goals than Arsenal. I think they've got the 6th best defence in the league. So, fair play to them, though they might be about to concede.
Oh, we're not. But we are now watching the game. It has kicked off. Liverpool-Brighton is on our main screen.
Yeah, and there's a few. I mean, this is by no means a foregone conclusion. Because I think Liverpool are currently winless in the Premier League in their last 2 or 3 ties. And despite scoring, 136 goals over the course of the season, they also haven't scored in a couple of ties either. So they need to start building momentum again for the Champions League final. And Brighton have been extremely good of late.
Yeah.
Playing really good football as well.
Liverpool are playing 4 up front today as well, just if you haven't seen the teams, because Solanke has also joined that obvious front three of Mane, Salah and Firmino, and then it's just 2 in behind Wijnaldum and Henderson. So Liverpool are going all out because they have to, because if Chelsea better their result, or if Chelsea get 3 points and Liverpool don't get any,
Exactly.
They
I know
finish
what you're getting at.
outside.
I know what you're getting at.
Get there
Although,
eventually.
doesn't bode well for Brighton that Liverpool are actually very good at home. I think they've won 7 of the last 9 and haven't conceded in the last 4. So, you know,
Fancy an upset here. Let's get a quick prediction on these games.
could go either way.
Let's get a quick prediction on Liverpool-Brighton.
From us, yeah?
Yeah, from
You
us.
sounded like you were going over the social corner there.
Yeah, I wasn't, sorry.
I'm going to go for, you know what, this 4-2-4, a little bit of imbalance in Liverpool's side. Henderson's got an awful lot of responsibility on his shoulders going into this game. I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 win for Liverpool. Dominic Solanke double. Lol.
Pato?
Yeah, I think it'll be closer as well, purely because Liverpool's front three have looked really, really tired the last couple of weeks. They've looked like they've had a long season. But I think they're still going to win this game. I think it'll still be 2-0.
Yeah, I'll go 3-0 Liverpool. Fairly comfortable, I think. Let's get another question then from Social Corner.
Yep, guys, remember you can watch along with us by clicking in the link in the description below and getting 25% off a Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. But Adam, what is our next question?
Our next question comes from Tariff. He's more interested about next season. He wants to know how you think Wolves will do next season.
Oh, what a question.
Jesus.
I was just about to say, I remember a stat. Before I address your question, it's a very good one. We all like Ruben Neves. Just got engaged, by the way. Saw that on his Instagram feed, so congratulations, Ruben. You're probably watching. That Jurgen Klopp has made 133 changes to his side this season. Admittedly, the front three have been a permanent fixture, so yes, they look tired. But that's 29 more than any other manager. So, Liverpool rotated well, but who else do they need to add to then strengthen their run for the title next season? One player. You get one player. Who would it be?
One player that I
Because
could
we
add
had
to
a
this
good
bit.
debate on Continental Club, but just in case
Can
you
it
didn't
be
watch
any player in world football, or are we like limited with it? Or is it not going to say Messi and
I mean,
stuff?
yeah, plausible players.
Yeah, somewhat. Exactly.
Tough. I think it's got to be a goalkeeper for me. I'll go for Jan Oblak.
Okay, 100 million release clause.
Yeah,
So they've
I'll
got
pay
to spend their entire budget,
I'll
not
pay
entire
it.
budget, because they've kind of shared they've got the resources of late. But most of their budget on a goalkeeper. Who would you go for?
I think that defensive midfielder would solve more problems. I think Karius has come back into some form recently, and actually before he went to Liverpool, Karius had overperformed versus expectation like, in every season. He's still reasonably young as well. I think Jorginho would be great, but I'm going to say Lucas Torreira from Sampdoria. He's supposedly available for 25 million euros. That's his buyout.
You've already got into him towards the tail end of the season, haven't you?
Well, I've watched more of him. I mean, he was certainly known as a good talent, but like huge defensive numbers, great passer as well, creative, good dribbler, and so he can play a bunch of roles in that midfield, and he can press. So I think that for Liverpool, that's kind of what they need. He can sit while Naby Keita will have a little bit more freedom.
Yeah, nice. Their midfield's going to look very different next season, isn't it?
Hopefully.
With Emre Can departing, Naby Keita coming in.
I despise them.
I would have said Koulibaly, but if they sign De Vrij from Lazio, that as has been reported this morning, if he doesn't sign for another Serie A side, then maybe they don't need him. And yeah, I'd potentially go for a Jorginho as well. I kind of want Fekir in the Premier League now. I said they don't need him on Continental Club, but I'm kind of sold on the idea of seeing him in the Premier League next season.
Yeah, like I said, I think Chelsea are the best fit for him. I really do.
I'd love it if they just bought Memphis Depay.
What was the original question, by the way?
Ruben
Ruben
Neves.
Neves.
Wolves.
No, it's Wolves.
Yeah, sorry, I just got a little bit hung up on. You know, I'm getting excited. I'm getting geared up for the transfer window.
I think Wolves are going to be extremely exciting to watch next season. I think watching a few of Nuno Espirito Santos' games this season, they play really attractive football. Wolves.
I haven't watched any of Wolves this season.
And
just to be honest with you,
they play
Switch.
Finish it! He's missed it. Good chance. Yeah, they play great football. I think they're going to make some big signings that will shock a lot of people.
Oh yeah, like who?
Well,
you got the inside track, have you?
Well, they're linked to Andre Silva, aren't they?
Andre Silva has been very heavily
would
linked.
be quality.
Andre Silva has been very heavily linked. Apparently, Jorge Mendes is
Well, I think
heavily involved in that transfer. Let's put it that way.
He didn't start the Coppa Italia final.
Yeah.
I think he's only got 2 in Serie A, and it looks like Gattuso is not a fan at all.
Yeah, so
neither was
I
Monteo.
think they're going to keep hold of Ruben Neves. They'll probably give him a little wage bump going into the Premier League.
I'd hope so.
They'll give if they get Andre Silva, it'd be outrageous. I also think they might get a few other players that are like linked to sort of top 6 clubs just because of the wage structure, and I think they could shock a lot of teams in where they finish next season.
The forward they get to replace Diogo Jota is going to be the most important thing, though. He's been so vital for them this season.
Haven't they signed him on a permanent?
No, I don't think so. He's been on loan from Atletico Madrid. I
actually think they've signed him on a permanent.
Last time I saw they hadn't, and I don't know. He got 17 goals for them in the Championship.
Yeah.
So that's kind of. I don't know, if they get Andre Silva to replace him, then that would be pretty exciting. But otherwise, you wonder where the goals are going to come from.
Yeah, they've signed him on a permanent.
Really? For how much?
15, was it?
Or,
I vaguely remember seeing that as well. But I think, as Rafa Benitez has displayed this season, you need a solid defence, first and foremost, in the Premier League, and kind of a competent attack is a bonus if you're a side looking to stay up. Now, I don't know about any of their defensive talent at current. Oh my God, he's just made an absolutely tragic error there. Is that Lewis Dunk?
Oh,
no,
well done.
Who's number 22? It might have been Dunk. Almost, a slam. What's the opposite of slam dunk? I don't know. But yeah, I'd maybe double down on defensive talent if I was them. But again, not all that well equipped to answer this question. Maybe let's get another one.
Yeah, but Jota has signed permanent. Yeah, let's get another one.
Cool.
Before we go to another question, though, there are goals flying in another game. Tottenham-Leicester. It's 1-1 at the moment. So the race for Golden Boot is now 31-29.
Interesting.
If that matters. And Jamie Vardy scored his 19th goal of the season.
But
quietly had a very good season.
Nice.
Jamie Vardy.
Yes, he has.
Yeah. I actually had a question on my Twitter the other day. Who's the most underrated player in the Premier League? And I actually think Jamie Vardy is the most underrated player in the entire league.
No, you're being silly.
I think
name a player who's more underrated than Jamie Vardy.
He's not underrated at all. People think he's
massively
great.
underrated.
No, he's not. Everyone goes on about. People were saying that he was too good to go to Arsenal a couple of seasons ago. It's ridiculous.
Maybe his contribution is underrated in that people talk about Wilfried Zaha as what a joke, the biggest one-man team in world football.
True, that's a truism. Without him,
a truism. That is indefinitely true. Right. What was the actual question?
Underrated player.
There wasn't a question.
No, it wasn't a question. But I was going to say, if Harry Kane secures his hat-trick, Mohamed Salah doesn't score, it goes to Harry Kane because he's got more assists.
Is that how it works?
I think.
I'm not sure.
So
would they not share the award?
Harry Kane would have played more minutes than Salah. I wasn't sure whether it went on goals per minute.
Oh God, drama.
How the hell has Harry Kane played more minutes than Salah? That's mental.
Because Harry Kane never sits on the bench.
Yeah, but he was injured, wasn't he?
No, but he was injured.
Played when he's not fit.
He was injured. They said he'd be out for 4 to 6 weeks, and they played him
about
after 2 weeks. And suddenly he started looking a little bit better because you know what's happened? It's been 6 weeks since he got injured.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's
4 and 7.
It's actually terrible. I mean, I can't believe the way that Spurs have treated Kane this season.
Flogged him like a
really
horse.
Dangerous.
Ooh,
Solanke has started so badly in this game. He's slipping all over the place.
He's incredibly young. He's incredibly young.
Yeah.
Considering Liverpool are playing a front four, they're pressing extremely high and don't look all that porous, do they? They've been pretty tight.
Anyway, shall we actually get a question? Because I just interrupted you there. Sorry, social.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, before we do another question.
Thames gave you the daggers.
There is another race for the most assists this season. At the moment, it's KDB on 15 and Leroy Sané on 15.
Were you listening? We spoke about that earlier, Adam Templeman. Yes.
Okay, well, they actually have to share, if it stays as it is, they have to share the award. So that may happen with the Golden Boot as well. They may have to share the Golden Boot.
Again, Sané has played about 600 minutes fewer than Kevin De Bruyne. So, I mean, arguably he deserves the award based on that. Score more goals as well.
Shall we actually get a question?
A real question.
Liv's
taking control needs to be done. And the question comes from Zach Morris, and he wants to know, who should City be targeting in the summer in defence of their title?
Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, that was my thought.
What a looker he was. One of my role models growing up.
Can't be serious.
The hair. What are you talking about?
Disgusting.
Are you mad?
Right.
You do have trash taste.
The quaff on the man was unbelievable.
Right, let's move on.
I mean, you're my well,
mate. What about Slater? Let's not get into this.
No,
but I mean, we
I
can talk about this all day.
I feel like it might
you're
come to
horribly
blows.
wrong.
Well, anyway, they need a defensive midfielder. Is my point of view. I think Fernandinho is getting no younger, so I would suggest that they need a replacement for Fernandinho.
Oh, there's just been a brutal handball in this game.
Knockout is
shoulder.
It's rolled down.
I don't know who.
Off the bicep.
I actually don't know who they could target. Fernandinho's got a really unique skill set, I think, and he's not going to be an easy player to replace.
Fred seems like a good fit. Fred's creative. He puts in a lot of defensive work. He's a good dribbler in the midfield.
Fred, the other day,
Alan
Dario
from Napoli. Really
Serna
well.
actually at the end of the season, Shakhtar Donetsk went live on Instagram in the changing room. Dario Serna did like a big stand-up goodbye speech to Fred, and he put the camera in Fred's face and was like, "Oh, thanks for your work at obviously Shakhtar," and then he was like, "Good luck in Manchester." And he hasn't said which Manchester club it is, but the chat is now that it's going to be more likely to be Manchester United than it is Man City.
Well,
really?
It's like United know that their scout network isn't as good as City's, and so they're just waiting to see who City's after and nicking them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just offering dirty wages.
Well, fair enough, it'd be a great signing for United as well.
What about Verratti?
I just don't think they need.
Okay.
I don't think they're pretty. I mean, they're pretty well stocked in that position. He's a little bit more forward thinking than he perhaps once was, Marco Verratti. But I mean,
Hasn't had a good season, though.
who do they need to sign? Now Mendy's back. They don't, necessarily need a backup left back, do they? Now they've got Fabian Delph. I don't know. I don't have a particularly good answer to this question. It's going to be hard to add. Thanks, Liv. To add,
Another forward. I reckon they go for another forward.
Well, I reckon they probably do, but I'm not sure that's necessarily what they need.
I reckon they might go for Riyad Mahrez again.
Really? Because Bernardo Silva's only... Yeah, potentially might go back in for him, but I feel like he was a let's secure the title and enable us to rotate in the Champions League sort of target.
Yeah. But he clearly wanted another forward, didn't he? That's why he went after him or Alexi. And I don't reckon that would have just changed overnight.
Bernardo Silva is the player who is kind of happy to sit on the bench in that rotating front 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
And he's come into great effect at various points this season. So yeah, I think you're right. Maybe just Fred, and then win the Premier League again by 20 points.
They'll probably sign someone that will shock us all, like a creative midfielder or somebody that's going to offer a backup option to Kevin De Bruyne or something like that. I don't know. Pep Guardiola usually surprises a few people, doesn't he? I didn't really see the Laporte signing for 60 million happening. That came out of nowhere a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Vincent Kompany's going to need... they're going to need to replace him soon, aren't they? What's his face is getting no younger. Nicolas Otamendi.
Yeah, Nicolas Otamendi.
Sorry, I'm getting drawn into the game. So yeah, maybe a backup centre back. I merit Laporte again. Very capable of deputising. But should we get another question?
Yeah.
Yep, our next question comes from Venom, who wants to know, who do you think is the best loan signing of the Premier League this season?
Ooh. I'm trying to think who's even on loan. I can't even think of a single name.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek came straight to mind.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek.
Who's... Yeah,
it's a great shout. It has to be Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek...
I'm not sure. I just can't think of other loanees.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek's been such a good signing. I think the biggest compliment you can pay to him is that he probably deserves to be on the plane with England. And I don't think he would have said that at the start of the season. And I don't reckon there's any other loan signings that have gone on loan and have impressed so much they've made their team's national side.
Like Tammy Abraham had a good start, didn't he? But again, like he's been a victim of kind of Swansea's managerial merry-go-round. And
I think I've been shocked at how poor Kurt Zouma's been. I thought Kurt Zouma would offer a lot more to that Stoke backline than.
But Mark Hughes is such a dreadful coach that I'm not really surprised.
True, yeah.
Like I mean, it's easier to think of loan signings who failed. Yeah, I mean we've seen Renato Sanchez have a pretty poor season as well. We've seen Hesse have a nightmare season.
Horrible
it's easier
season.
to think of people who've been loaned out of the Premier League and had good years. He
Fosu
has, but he
Mensah's
wasn't
done
good when he
alright.
played either.
Fosu Mensah's done okay.
Yeah, I like Fosu Mensah a lot actually. I think he's an interesting player. So
What about Celtic? You got any good loanees in through the door in Cham?
we signed Cham on a permanent for
Is
4.5 million. French Eddie, yeah, we look to be signing him on a permanent as well for about 7-8 million. He's the difference between him when he first came through the door from PSG and now is night and day. There's a lot of Celtic fans that think he's got a higher ceiling than Moussa Dembele. People saying off Moussa Dembele and use that money to sign him. And Patrick Roberts, whose loan didn't go according to plan because he's been injured for a large part of this season. But yeah, Celtic are a very good club when it comes to loaning out talent from top clubs. So yeah, I think Edouard, brilliant.
All the games are 0-0, by the way. They're just scrolling across the result.
Apart from Leicester.
Apart from Leicester,
Apart
Tottenham.
from Swansea as well. Swansea just scored.
Oh, only another 4?
Who scored?
5-goal swing you were talking
There
about?
you go then, the swing is on.
Andy King, a
Swansea
guy I
fancy
forgot existed.
Andy King. I obviously keep an eye on Leicester and I didn't even know he'd gone.
Really? When did Andy King go to Swansea?
Must have
Who
been January.
cares, man?
Oh God, yeah. Let's get another
Rubbish.
question because we're talking about
Andy King,
Dreadful.
great servant.
Right, our next question comes from GA Nobody. And he wants to know, where do you guys see Neymar's future?
Neymar's future.
Eventually, he is going to Real Madrid.
I couldn't care less.
100%. He's going to end up in a white shirt.
Yeah, but this is kind of what fan hour's about. You
So
can't just say you don't
boring.
care.
I can, and I don't. Like, it's just like we talk about him all the time, and it's just like he's at PSG. I mean, I just want to see him under Tuchel and see what he's like under that kind of coach. If he actually buys into his system,
He won't.
That's
and
what I want.
I think
It's just
I think
tedious.
one more season.
He thinks
at
he's
PSG.
Messi, and he's not. Shut up.
One more season at PSG. I think he is not going to be sold this summer because he costs too much money and he's too much of a high-profile asset for their Qatari owners. But next season they will transfer
Who else
him
is going to pick up
Madrid.
those wages? I feel like he's almost locked himself into at least another 2-3
Real
years.
Madrid will pick up the wages.
I'm not sure, man.
You
Just
can imagine Man United offering like
Man
Old Trafford
United,
to him.
yeah, Man United could also pick up the wages
I
quite
mean,
comfortably.
that-
Why would he go?
if
They're
they
so
if
bad.
they already have Gareth, maybe if they offload Gareth Bale, Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's quietly had a very good end to the season. He now has 15 league goals.
Yeah, he's been involved in 20 goals in the
and
league.
is
mate.
potentially.
Ooh.
Oh my god! That's,
Salah's in. Oh,
Lovely move.
Salah scores. He
oh,
says,
that's very calm.
Who's at 6? Is that proper?
What?
That's a naughty little Cruyff in the box.
State of that touch.
Oh, Charlotto.
And they've got Asensio. Mayoral as kind of. Oh my goodness.
penalty! Surely, referee.
He's taken the
That
ball.
is such a bad decision by the
Okay.
referee.
No, it isn't.
Let's
100%
revisit the
penalty.
question
Need to see it again.
after we see this again.
Salah has jinked over whoever the centre back's leg is, regen number 2, and he has 100% brought him down for a penalty. We haven't seen the replay yet, but this is such a bad decision by the referee.
The referees.
Here we go,
The
we're about to see
referees
it
put
now.
his money
Right,
on
let's see
Harry
what's
Kane.
happened.
This is as bad a decision as you'll see all season, I reckon.
Joe jumping to conclusion. Shot.
Seriously.
Good.
I was right on Ashley Young.
Mate,
he should have been
good.
sent
Yeah,
off.
good statements are always followed by "I reckon."
Oh, look at that's an appalling
That's a
bit of
Stonewall
refereeing.
penalty.
Right,
How
touch
has
the
he
ball.
not seen this? He gets nowhere near the ball.
He gets quite near the ball.
That
He's
is a
touched the ball.
No.
he gets nowhere near the ball.
That's
He
a-
literally touched the ball,
it's
and
a-
Joe
it's a
Tomlinson
sto-
said
it's
that.
It's
Oh, he's taken the ball.
Stonewall penalty.
He's actually taken the ball. It's amazing.
That is a horrible bit of refereeing.
The most generous.
It's not a good
statement
challenge, but he's
you,
taken the ball.
You can make about that is he might have scraped it with his studs, but that is.
But that counts.
rash.
You've taken the ball.
That is rash.
That's not a penalty.
He's very fortunate.
That is, how can you say that's not
I
a
think
penalty?
if that
Because he's taken the
I
ball,
think
you
if that had
tool.
been, I think if that had been
he's
given,
in.
square it.
He's off, isn't he?
Oh my God! What a horrible effort.
Why is Mane not squared?
Oh
that?
my God, I thought he was offside. The whole Brighton defence just stopped. Mane ran through 1-on-1, should have just squared it.
Jordan Henderson is working hard.
Jordan Henderson's tried to backheel it and just sticks a passing sideways.
Oh my
Jordan.
God, what's going
Oh
on?
my goodness.
Sadio Mane's been in good form as well recently. 10 in his last 15. I think. He should have squared it to. Firmino's got 27 in all
Can't believe he
competitions
hasn't
this
The
season.
squared
collar
the
on
ball.
this Liverpool shirt, by the way, is an abomination.
Yeah, it's not good.
Goodbye, Solanke.
Actually, it's got that little. It's got that little one button, hasn't it?
I hate
Square
it.
that.
It's terrible.
Square that.
That is
Oh my
so
God.
bad by
what
Sadio
have
Mane.
you done, Mane?
I can't believe he hasn't squared the ball.
I can't believe he's gone for that.
Very selfish.
It's a horrible shot.
Matt Ryan in goal is a brick house. Why are you trying to beat him at the far post there?
Oh,
What's a ball in? He put that cross
Brian
in.
are living on the edge here, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time before.
Great work from Dayan Lovren.
Only a matter of time if
you
that was
seen
actually pretty good work. by
Dan
him.
Lovren on.
No, it wasn't that sarcastic. It was just funny that the way he did it. Rubbish.
Dan Lovren and Salah on social media have been my favourite sort of, blossoming bromance.
I didn't even realise they had one.
Apparently, Dan Lovren was giving Salah a lift of training the other day, and someone thought that Dan Lovren was his driver.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Should we get another question then, just while we relive this horrendous penalty decision? What are the people saying? They
But
say
Salah's already going
Are they saying
down.
that's
He
a
hasn't
penalty
actually
or what?
taken
But
Salah
no,
down.
there's
The
actually-
first action
there's not much talk
does
about
not
this penalty
take the
at all.
ball, and it
I don't
takes
think people
Salah.
No, it
really
doesn't. The first
care.
action doesn't touch Salah. Salah's gone
such
down.
a penalty.
Watch it again and see when they make contact, and Salah's already going down by the time he's done it. So
You're wrong.
When
you're
Salah's
just not
fuming-
good at football.
When
mate.
Salah's fuming, you know it's.
Well,
he
I
doesn't
mean,
lie about
if we're
anything.
going on ability at football, then come on.
I mean, at watching football. Come on.
Right, let's get another question. Seriously, let's get one.
Well, there has been another goal at Wembley Stadium, and it's
great.
to Leicester City. Riyad Mahrez has scored.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes!
Which
Is
nicely
it 2015?
which nicely takes me to my next question. Riyad Mahrez, what's going to happen to him in the summer? Should he leave? Should he stay?
He's definitely going to leave Leicester City.
The
This
buzz has kind of dwindled around him, hasn't it?
summer.
Which is weird because he's still, exactly the same player he always
contract
was.
request and then agrees to pay 6 more months on the provision he was leaving in the summer.
Yeah, I think the big question now is like Van Straten just said, who will come back in for him to the tune that Leicester clearly want for him, which, I mean, they turned down, 70-odd million in January. I mean, I liked the Roma deal when Roma put a 40 million bid in for him, but he's not going to go for 40. If Man City come back in for him, I think Leicester will let him go. I got in January why they kept him. They probably won't be able to recoup the same sort of money. 75 million was an extremely fair bid. But, they'll have more time to plan for his loss, for his departure, because his output at Leicester, like you said, is only second to Jamie Vardy's. And how many assists does he get for Jamie Vardy? So you're kind of losing your creator and someone with an inordinate sort of amount of goals at a club like Leicester.
I don't know. I think he will go this summer. I don't think Leicester will be able to get 60 mil for him, but I think if they can get sort of anywhere upwards of 40, they should take it.
So where
40 is about what he's worth.
So where does he go, and then who do Leicester pick up to replace him?
He goes. It's hard to find a club for him to place him at.
It's an extremely difficult
Arsenal?
because he's not that top level player. Like he's a very, very good player. But I don't think that there's like a top club that he's going to walk into and be a really valuable starter.
I think he'd be a really good asset for Tottenham Hotspur.
He'd be a really good asset for anyone.
Yeah.
But the question is, like, if you pay that much money for him, then you want to play him as a starter. And he's probably a little bit too old for Arsenal, given where they're shopping at the moment. Man United, I don't think would go for him because he doesn't really suit them, and they've got a lot of wide talent. City, I think the idea with City was to shore up their kind of Champions League bid over the back half of the season. So
Tottenham?
I'd rather he stayed somewhere where he actually played every week, really, than went to a big club where he got parked on the bench.
I actually think he would start for Tottenham Hotspur.
I don't think Tottenham's the worst
Over
shout,
Son.
but I mean, they have... he's not going to start over Son.
And Moura as well, they've just bought.
Son's been like the only decent bit of wide talent they've produced. Someone's just whacked something offset.
No, it's a goal. Who scored? Sorry. 1-0 Newcastle against Chelsea.
Dwight Gale with his
why aren't we watching that game?
Is that at Stamford Bridge, by the way?
What was I saying?
Riyad Mahrez not being starting over Heung-min-Son.
Yeah. And I mean, Lamela doesn't start. I feel like he's that player for Spurs coming off the bench. And like Pat said, Lucas Moura, who's barely got a run in the side. Does Spurs spend that amount of money?
Wolverhampton
on
Wanderers.
anyone ever? Right, we're just getting silly now. Let's just go to the
Well,
next question.
Marseille are investing a lot of money now, so who knows? Maybe something like that, like a Monaco or a Marseille, could be quite interesting.
Lyon, if they lose any of their wide talent, they've got money to spend.
Yeah, but I think he'd be a bit too expensive for what you'd get out of him. I think they'd rather promote someone from the academy. It seems to be what they do every time, and every time that person turns out to be a world beater.
Might end up being like an Inter Milan.
Sure. Yeah, we haven't. I mean, what Italy do in the transfer market? That's always just an absolute crapshoot. No one has any idea.
All right, next question.
Right, our next question comes from Aidan Smith, and this one is kind of dependent on the second leg of the playoffs, but where do you think Ryan Sessegnon should go this window? Or should he stay at Fulham?
Yeah, he's like 17. Stay where you are.
At Fulham. Although, if they don't go up, then he should definitely move to a Premier League side. If they don't go up, he should be playing Premier League football next year for me. Wolves. Go to Wolves.
Oh my God.
Are you working for Wolves?
Stop it.
George Mendes. I'm not saying.
If Spurs sell Danny Rose, then he'd be interesting to come in because they know that Davis can play left back and that gives him time to develop. I wouldn't go to United because United need a starting left back. So a team that has
United might be interested.
a team that has a left back who can play first team, where they don't need him to immediately be one of the best left backs in the league. That I think would probably be quite a good fit for him. So if Arsenal were to let Monreal go, if Spurs were to let Rose go, that would be quite good for me.
I think United might go in for him. I think Tottenham will go in for him. Tottenham have been in for him for the last 2 windows. Let's not forget Tottenham have had 2 bids rejected in both of the last 2 windows by Fulham. So I think Tottenham clearly want to sign him. Fits Pochettino's identity of signing players pretty well, doesn't he? and developing players. Pochettino is really good at developing English youngsters, so I think he'd be.
I love it when you get
goal.
Oh, it's a new record, a new Premier League record.
Mo Salah. He looks fuming over that penalty. Mo Salah, shock.
32 Premier League goals.
32.
That's a record in a 38-game season.
Yeah,
exciting, sort of.
The top scorer in a single Premier League season ever, Mohamed Salah, 1-0 Liverpool, and that pretty much secures their top 4 identity for next season.
He has more than double the amount of goals that Firmino scored in the Premier League. Like, if we're talking, I know we love that trident, but God, is he by far the most important component at least this season.
Yeah, it's actually good played by Solanke as well, by the way. Solanke does really well.
Does Solanke put that ball through for Sane, or does he?
Yeah, Solanke does.
No, I think.
I might get a little
ball.
deflection.
Maybe it's
great
meant for Salah. Yeah.
You know what? Mane's been interesting this season. Mane's been dropping deeper since Coutinho left, and it's weird that people have been saying he hasn't had a good season, because it kind of seems to me like when you have a superstar striker, quite often the players around them look like they're having worse seasons because they're scoring fewer goals. Kind of the same with Dele Alli. Dele Alli's producing goals at exactly the same rate this season as he did last season per 90. And I think Mane as well is showing his creativity.
Mane's not even that dry on the goal front. Has he got 9 in 10 in the Champions League as well?
Something insane
across all competitions.
Do you know, like, we don't often talk about Harry Kane more because we just know how good he is, but he's such a consistent goal scorer, isn't he? Like 29 again this season. It's insane.
And he's actually gone up per game every season.
Oh dear, Brighton could be falling apart a little bit.
Horrible play there from Liverpool.
They're in the box again, Liverpool. Salah, oh my word. Get it out, Brighton.
Oh, it's well played in the end.
What are they doing?
Controlled it with his back there.
Brighton are getting absolutely pumped by Liverpool here. You can't get out there in half. Oh, Alexander-Arnold.
They're having a bad 5 minutes. They need to make sure the whole game isn't gone.
That's 100% a free kick.
He's taken the ball well there. It's just the one afterwards was a foul, but the ball was already gone.
Anyway, what was the question again? Who are we talking about now? Ryan Sessegnon.
There's no way that's stayed.
Yeah, Man United or Tottenham, I think he'll go to.
Or PSG, who knows? They've been linked with him, and Kurzawa looks like he's going to miss one.
We're getting the goal from St James's Park.
Oh, very.
Oh, Dwight.
Oh no.
Oh my good God.
Bit of opportunism there from Dwight Gale.
What's he done to his hair?
Sporting a ponytail.
Top knot. What's he thinking? But yeah. If you want to watch the games, click the link in the description. Get your Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. There's a little plug. Let's go to Social Corner. Just filling the air.
Next question is from Killian Justin. He wants to know what your thoughts on Justin Kluivert going to Manchester United.
Yes,
it's going to happen.
So this one was an article in The Guardian by Jamie Jackson, who is actually a really quite reliable journalist for Manchester United sources. And he said that Jose is desperate to sign Kluivert this summer because basically Martial's leaving.
Oh, nice.
So if that does happen, then I think Justin Kluivert might well come in, or a player of that sort of ilk. But if I was Justin Kluivert, would I join Man United? I think is the question, and the answer is no. You're not going to get any game time over Alexis Sanchez. You're going to be probably stuck playing a position you're not too comfortable with, because you're not going to get on that left-hand side, that's for sure. So I think you're probably going to be more likely to be played on the right, which is where we actually do need a winger.
Surely a lot of young wide talent think what has happened to Martial, who's extremely well-rounded and has great
I'm sure they would. And I think the trouble is United need a right winger. We've got a lot of work. We've got a lot of players talented from that left-hand side. Rashford's played there to great success. Martial's played there to great success. Alexis Sanchez only seems to be able to play there. And Mane's in one-on-one.
Oh my God!
What has he done?
Wow!
Oh my word! That's one of the worst bit of play.
Salah was too close to him there. That was Salah's fault.
Clearly wanted to secure.
I mean, it's a bad pass as well from Mane. But
top goal scorer for his teammate. Sadio Mane's gone one-on-one there, definitely onside, and they've absolutely fluffed it.
Why are they both so close?
Why isn't Mane shooting?
Great work on the line.
Great block on the line. That's amazing.
If you want Mohamed Salah though, he is close to him there, but you're not looking for a square there.
Yeah, I think
he's asking for it.
I think Mane has to shoot.
No, Mane has to take that on.
Salah shouldn't have called for it.
Back to the question at hand. I think we need a right winger, and I don't think Justin Kluivert fits that profile.
I think Kluivert's going to Roma. He's been strongly linked with Roma. Apparently, he's visited their ground a couple of times.
Seems like a Monchi.
Monchi really wants him.
It would be a really good sign.
And given this season, they've really relied on Perotti, who is not young and is good, but I don't know. They've got that ageing front line, and while Under looks good, I think they need somebody on the other side.
Schick hasn't exactly been the signing they wanted him to be.
He's definitely going to leave Ajax as well.
Couldn't remember his name. Thanks.
I think there's four or five players that will definitely leave Ajax this summer. There was a article in the Telegraph from the Ajax players a couple of weeks ago that basically said we are all leaving. if we don't sort out our wage structure. Because there's some things happening at Ajax behind the scenes that aren't particularly savoury, I don't think, around the wage structure for young players. So a lot of them are going to leave this summer. One of them, I think Matthijs de Ligt is probably going to be...
Was that Henderson? He's been long linked with Barcelona.
I think Matthijs de Ligt is probably going to be the most high profile of the lot leaving, which would be a great signing for whoever picks him up.
And whoever gets David Neres will be getting a great deal. I mean, it's actually a really good generation they've had. I mean, obviously, really sad that Abdel Haq Nouri's had his career ended. But there's tons of young talent in that team and in that league, and so I think whoever gets David Neres out of them and whoever gets Justin Kluivert, they'll have a really exciting front line.
The Eredivisie's been an odd one this season, hasn't it? As in a lot of wide talent has come to the fore, but there's not really been an outrageous goal scorer. Isn't Herving Lozano the top goal scorer?
I actually think it's Alireza Jahanbakhsh. How do I say his name? Jahanbakhsh.
Jahanbakhsh.
Yeah, Iranian correspondent over there. So yeah, he's had an amazing season. He's the top scorer in the league, and he's also the third highest assister. But after that, I think it's Lozano. And Lozano kind of stopped scoring after Christmas.
Yeah, I think he got, I want to say 17 or 19. But yeah, I mean, normally in years gone by, you've had 30 goals a season plus. Haven't been a rarity. Have they in the Eredivisie? I remember when Alfonso Alves got 32, and so did Georgios Samaras. But yeah.
Next question then.
Yep, guys, keep sending us your questions using the hashtag FanHour. But our next question comes from Niche, and he wants to know, what can Dortmund do to get back in form and compete with Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga?
Sign a decent coach.
Yeah, and
Do a start.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think it might be the Frankfurt coach who is quite an interesting prospect.
Korkut. Is that not it? Typhoon Korkut?
Let me Google it.
Who's brought them up from... I know Kovac had a great season. He's been given the Bayern job, but this guy's actually finished above him, and he brought them up from the division below.
Stuttgart.
Is it the manager of Stuttgart?
Yeah,
Kovac is Frankfurt, and it's Korkut at Stuttgart, I think.
Stuttgart. Thank you for clarifying that, gentleman. But that's who I mean. So I'm not sure about the football that Stuttgart have been playing, but I think the great thing about the Bundesliga, we know that the average age for a coach there is lower than anywhere else in Europe. So you do have kind of this production line. Oh, Sané was in there. Good block. I think it was maybe Dunk. I just want to say Dunk because I quite like Dunk.
He's had a good season.
Had a great season. So yeah, good coaches aren't exactly short in supply, are they, in Germany?
I think they'll go for they should go for Nagelsmann.
I think they should go Marco
all
Rose.
in for Nagelsmann.
I think they're so far away from Bayern Munich at the moment now that they shouldn't even be contemplating challenging Bayern Munich next season for the title. I don't think they're just a good manager away from challenging for the title as well. They've lost Aubameyang, who is scoring at a ridiculous rate of knots for them. And now they're expecting, big things from young players like Pulisic. And
Sancho.
Yeah, and I honestly just think they should be looking to solidify themselves as second best in Germany at the moment, because Schalke, Hoffenheim, RB Leipzig all look better equipped than them at the moment, and that's not been the case in years gone by. So they've just enabled themselves to slip down the pecking order, and they're in the top 15 highest earners in football. So they have money to spend, and like you said, that is Dembele money. Where is that going?
Yeah, Aubameyang money.
If you're a Dortmund fan, I'd maybe feel a little bit frustrated, but you kind of, I suppose you have to respect the ethos. They stick to their guns, don't they? But big signings are needed.
I think I just don't understand why they're not sticking all of their eggs in Nagelsmann's basket. I think Nagelsmann's available.
I don't think Nagelsmann is available. Like, I think if he was available, Bayern would have gone for him. But basically, the billionaire who owns Hoffenheim and Nagelsmann himself have both said that he's not going to go this summer. He's probably going to go next year.
I don't understand why he's continuing to stay there.
Maybe hot.
How much further can he take that Hoffenheim side? I mean, they're in Liverpool.
I just
he's
think
taken them to third in the league yet again with selling Rudy and Sula last summer.
And Wagner in January.
I don't understand how much further he can take this Hoffenheim side other than backwards from this position.
The strongest links at the moment have been Lucien Favre, who obviously had success at Borussia Mönchengladbach before going off to Nice, and Marco Rose, who knocked them out of the Europa League with RB Salzburg. Marco Rose, I think, would probably suit them a little bit better. He's like a high-pressing, young, exciting coach. Or Adi Hütter from Young Boys. These are the kind of coaches that they've got in previous years. And I don't know. I want them to be exciting again, because actually the Bundesliga is really weak right now.
Oh, what a
Good
goal that
God.
would have been.
Mane has not had a particularly great half.
Great interplay.
Great for finding positions. But
By
not great
Liverpool in
for
the
scoring.
18-yard box. Nice little back heel we saw there. Was that from Mohamed Salah?
Yeah. Who plays this ball? Was that Henderson? With an absolute pinger.
Henderson's actually had a good half.
Mine
He has.
needs a
He's
ping.
been breaking up players.
Yeah,
He's
apart
been
from that
knocking
back
up
heel, that's two very good long balls of laser
think
accuracy.
Mohamed Salah's got a
Into
bit
the
of
box.
Iron Robin syndrome, hasn't he? You know he's coming in.
That's
on that
Dominic
left.
Solanke with the back heel.
You just can't stop Salah coming in on that left, even though you know what he's
Yeah, you know what he's
going
going to do, but it's too fast.
Proper Iron Robin syndrome. Should we get another question then?
Yeah, we've got some goals to talk about.
Oh.
It's not looking good for Swansea. Stoke have equalised.
Oh.
And
Who is
Any
watching
United
that game?
goals?
there has been a United goal.
Hey!
Next one, Marcus Rashford, you're
Sure.
1-0 up. But our next question is from Lionel, who said, if Real Madrid come in for Salah, should he leave for Madrid or should he stay at Liverpool for another season?
Stay at Liverpool for another season.
I
Oh,
don't
I don't know,
I feel like
actually.
if
I think
Real
he will
Madrid
stay
come
for
for
another
you,
season.
then you more often than not you go. But Liverpool are in the strongest position they've been in for a long time in terms of having a strategy and executing it. They seem to have a bit of vision with their transfers.
Yeah.
I think look what they did with Coutinho. They got £150 million out of Barcelona, and I think he'd scored 7 league goals up until that point and maybe had as many assists. So imagine what they're going to ask for when it comes to Mohamed Salah. Again, I think if Real Madrid sell Bale, then they'll definitely be shopping around for wide talent. But if not, I feel like Zidane's quite happy to make do, isn't he? Which is a weird quality for a Real Madrid manager.
I don't know how much longer Florentino Perez will be happy to make doing the league though.
And if they don't win the Champions League, then he will probably need to invest quite heavily. I think Salah will stay for another year. Liverpool will just say no, you can't go this year, and he'll give them at least one more season where they give the league a good go with Naby Keita and whoever they get at DM, and maybe a new keeper. And then if they don't win that year, then they'll probably have to let him go.
I don't think Salah's the type of player that will kick up a fuss either, right? Like he doesn't feel like that type of player.
It's
who's
difficult
prima donna.
when you get a shot at Real Madrid. It's very difficult not to kick up.
Yeah,
a fuss.
200. Let's say they come in with like a 220 odd million, like Neymar sort of money. It's hard to say no if you're Liverpool as well, you know. Like that is unbelievable money. I know he's been as good as he's been. I
To
don't
get
know
the same
whether
money
the
as you would for
FSG will say
Neymar.
no, man.
Yeah, I agree.
It's outrageous.
Next season's going to be a big indicator of how like we know he's a brilliant player, okay, but you'd hope that defences would be better equipped next season now they know his strengths to kind of deal with him, and that's what makes Harry Kane such a special player, that he's found a way 4 or 5 consecutive seasons.
Yeah.
Like if Mohamed Salah goes ahead and scores 20 plus goals again next season, you know, not even at the same rate he is now with 32, but then I think then Real Madrid would be like, okay, he's oh my god, lovely from Firmino. He's a player who could maybe take some of that goal scoring burden away from Ronaldo, who will be 34.
Yeah.
Ronaldo signed a contract till 2021, hasn't he? And I think Real Madrid he'll probably be point man until then.
He's going to retire at Madrid.
Or go to the US. I
Yeah.
can see him doing
Yeah,
like if he gets his own
yeah.
football club in the US, if he gets a franchise.
Yeah. Right, next question. then.
Madness.
Before we go to our next question, we've just got a lot of stuff going on Twitter. Basically, Barkley is playing.
You're going to say with you before we
With
start.
me, I've got some personal beef
Got
I
our
want to go
feelings to deal with.
No, everyone's kicking off because basically Barkley is playing right wing for Chelsea at the moment.
Oh dear.
In a must-win game.
I mean, of all the things to kick off about.
So they are kicking
Yeah.
off about
I mean,
that.
we started the show, didn't we, by saying that was the weirdest signing of the season, and
Yeah.
now Conte. Is this just a final up yours to Abramovich playing Barkley on the right wing?
I mean,
Madness.
We say it's a must-win, but Antonio Conte, let's have it right, couldn't care less. He's not going to be the next
He's-
summer.
I don't know. Come on. Barham Kayal, ex-Celtic.
Are we talking about Ross Barkley now then? What's your
No,
thoughts?
come on,
on
we
it?
can't talk about
Talk
it.
about him? Do you not want to
No,
talk about
we
him?
don't want to talk about
Next
it.
question.
I'll give you another question then.
Liv's
Okay,
got another
well,
question.
Kirshar Paywar wants to know, who are you predicting to be the dark horses of the World Cup?
We are predicting to be the dark horses. It depends what level of dark horse we're talking about here, because
Every time people say Belgium, and it's so
yeah,
boring.
I don't know, maybe.
So not Belgium.
Yeah,
Oh, Dejan Lovren!
Lovely,
What a header.
Dejan
Leapt like a
Lovren.
salmon. He is tremendous in the air.
Such a good finish.
I actually.
Great ball in. Who hung that cross up?
Like,
It's a gorgeous
Maybe
cross.
Robertson,
We've definitely
maybe.
hammered him at various points this season, and he does have it. I mean, he's unbelievable at clearing crosses, and he does have his strengths and weaknesses. You know, they're pretty obvious, those, maybe more so than other players. But just the tenacity of the man, I do really quite like him. The amount of criticism he gets, I think, is perhaps a little bit unjust.
Fabulous
and
ball
it
by
becomes
Robertson.
a bit vitriolic. That is a banger. That's a peach of a header.
Great header by Robertson. Great ball in by Robertson. He's had such a good season. Robertson has left back.
And his delivery is improved.
Oh, it's
massively.
so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy though.
Yeah, I mean that's
Not
terrible
a single
by Brighton,
person
though.
is
Come on.
competing.
Brighton,
Unbelievable.
I'll be
I mean,
disappointed.
the pace of the ball. I mean, there's not a bad line there.
The ball's
from
kind of
Brighton,
looped. I don't know.
But the pace and the position of that ball makes that. All you have to do is attack that at pace.
Anyway.
He's unclipped his top button.
First goal of the season.
Terrible.
And that pretty
Good for
much
him.
guarantees Liverpool top 4, especially with Chelsea losing against Newcastle. Did we have a question in the midst of that? No, we didn't, did we?
What if at half time we
Don't
go
have a
over to Chelsea Newcastle and have a look at this Ross Barkley experiment?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that now if you want to.
Because you're getting more than one game on this day pass, baby. Joe, hit him.
Yeah, click the link in the description below. Now TV, Sky Sports Day
Smashed
Pass,
it.
25% off. See, that is just seamless co-presenting work there.
Also
That's
get Barcelona Levante.
incredible.
You know,
Awesome.
just to
Oh,
kind of
amazing.
end your week on.
Liverpool
watch
are
Barca
playing
win 8-0.
so well. I'm a little bit nervous for Brighton. This is going to turn into a Mullering. If Mane had a shooting boots,
Oh my God, that
surely
might be
a
a
penalty.
penalty.
How's that not a penalty?
That's a horrific challenge.
He kicked him in the head. Oh, what's going
What
on
is
in the
happening
box?
now?
Anyway, with that big clearance.
Oh, what a ball!
Oh, what a touch!
No.
Oh, no.
Hasn't got the
That was
pace.
an unbelievable first touch.
Good turn of pace there from Virgil van Dijk.
let's-
Don't often see that from him.
Let's get a question then. Well, it's a bit of slow. 'Cause it's quite a different game.
Before we have a question, the most important thing of the day has happened. Arsenal 1-0 up. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So
Again,
Again, this is
Wow.
10th
we're
goal,
going to
isn't it?
get could get a point.
Isn't he like one goal behind Morata and he joined in January?
I think
Yeah,
so.
something like that.
And West Ham are also 1-0 up. Lanzini has scored.
Oh, it's actually.
And also Burnley are just 1-0 up as well. Chris
Shock.
Wood has scored.
Chris
brilliant.
Wood.
There you go, Joe.
There he
Is that
10th
double-
10th
that's double
10th
figures for
10th
Chris
goal of
Wood
the
now.
season
There
for
you
Wood.
go. But our next question is from Simon. He says, which player needs to go on loan this summer to revive their career?
Ooh.
These ones are always quite difficult to answer off the bat because you want to come up with a not an obvious answer.
To revive their career is difficult as well because it's somebody who's been around, looks good, and then has
Yeah.
declined
A lot of
in the last couple
nuances
of
to
years.
this question. It's
So
a good
quite-
question, but hard.
Quite an old player to go on loan.
I'd like to loan Martial to Dortmund.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be really fun.
Okay.
But
At the same time, he's good enough to start for a top team.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's not like he's been poor this season. He's been absolutely incredible. If you look at his goals and assist numbers in the minutes he's played, they're outrageous.
True.
So
yeah.
he just
To
needs
revive their
minutes.
career, I think it's a bit of a harsh one because that kind of intimates that he's slightly older than.
Maybe Jack Wilshere. I'd like to see him
Again?
go to Serie A. I've said
Yeah,
this for a
maybe.
couple of years.
Danny Rose.
He has
Danny Rose
he
doesn't
has
leave.
qualities, doesn't he, Jack
Well,
Wilshere? But and it doesn't look like Arsenal are going to offer him the contract he wants. And I like how
But
long.
then he's out of contract and there's no need for a loan, right? Like I mean,
Yeah.
and it'll be a second loan in 3 years, and
kinda
he's
honing in on
26
Revive
now.
there.
Like it's difficult, isn't it?
Other top clubs across Europe.
Why don't we have a think about this and then come back to it, and we'll get a slightly easier question to answer. in
Maybe
between.
Renato Sanchez a better loan loan
boy.
deal.
I mean,
He's got to
Zuma
try
to a
somewhere.
better club.
He's got to try somewhere because he's not getting back in that buy
Luke
side.
Shaw, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, Luke Shaw's a good. Yeah, Luke Shaw's the most obvious candidate, but he's going to be sold, I think.
Interesting.
Do you want another question?
Yeah,
sure.
go on.
Before we go to another question, like it even matters, Stoke are 2-1 up, so I think Swansea are pretty much.
Bye Swansea.
Dead and buried the Swans.
Get in.
Our next question comes from another contender for FD Fan of the Season, and it is Sonny Snelling, and he wants to know, Joe, you keep talking about Wolves, but do you think they can survive it next season?
He's not nominated. That's a bit awkward.
Sorry.
Well, I think you should win, so there you go.
Wolves definitely can, but again, will they? We've seen clubs with a lot of money come up into the Premier League and struggle before. Let's just look at QPR, case in point, as a key example. Had a lot of money to spend, didn't identify the correct targets, ended up bringing in journeyman forwards that had been around the Premier League before, and it didn't work out for them. And look where they are now, struggling big time. So it's all about identification of the right targets for Wolves, and
Yeah,
I
but
think
like-
they've probably
like
got
you
a better
said-
setup than QPR have to identify those targets.
Like a better manager.
QPR had money, and the Wolves have Jorge Mendes.
Yeah.
Like identifying talent, I don't think is a problem. Like the talent they've gone after is been like
fantastic.
extremely
Yeah,
speculative, and they've
Jota,
somehow
yeah.
pulled it off. Yeah, Ruben Neves,
Ruben
youngest
Neves,
player
brilliant.
to captain a side in the Champions League, goes. They convince him to give up a year of his career.
I mean, as
in
well,
the
they can
Championship.
effectively sign any Portuguese player they want. Forget which level they're playing at. If they're Portuguese, Wolves are in with a shout
Yeah.
of getting them.
The more
which is why Silva's such a likely move.
Gelato here, breaking. Knocker. Oh, knocker.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how he's got away with that. But I mean, the more now you've mentioned Andre Silva from AC Milan, the more and more I can see that happening. And and that'd be the sort of player that Wolves would be. That'd be a savvy signing, someone that's fallen from grace a little bit, but someone that's someone who's got a point to prove.
I'll tell you who else I bet they end up signing. I bet they end up signing William Carvalho.
Oh God! The only player whose value hasn't been affected by inflation in the Premier League. He's been on the cusp of a £35 million move for the last 4 years. I wish someone would just sign him, so we'd have to talk about him again. West Ham will be back in for him for sure.
I bet you any money he's at least linked to Wolves this summer. 100%.
Yeah, no one's going to take that bet. It's
but
so obvious.
I think Wolves will stay in the Premier League next season. They've got too good a backroom staff, and like even Nuno Espirito Santos to be managing Wolves is an absolute joke.
I thought Nuno made a very good Valencia side and took them to third took them to fourth rather in La Liga in the pretty recent past.
The project's great there.
I think I may have seen that not one of now I've said it, I'm regretting it, but I'm going to go for it. That not one of the teams that have been promoted across England's 4 competitive leagues, or top 4 leagues maybe, has been relegated. That came up has been relegated this season.
It's only the third time in Premier League history that
might have been Europe's top
all
4,
3 promoted sides have stayed up. Only the third time in Premier League history, which is amazing. No, surely it can't be the case across all the Europe's top 5 leagues because Benevento must be going down.
Yeah, so it must have been Europe's top 4. You're right. But do you think in England the obviously the increased TV revenue has led to clubs being able to hoover up all the top talent across Europe, and I suppose has that competitiveness made it easier to an extent to stay up? Because you can sign, when people Stoke aren't the greatest example because they've gone down. I'm trying to articulate quite a difficult point here, but do you think we're going to see a little bit more of a flux in terms of new sides staying up, as in maybe the bottom half of the Premier League and the top sort of 6 teams in the Championship because of that 100 mil they get, for example, when they come up? Do you think they're going to be more competitive? Because there was a bit of disparity, 3, 4, 5 years ago, wasn't there? Like when your Blackpools came up, when your Derbys came up.
I think there's a lot more complacency in the lower teams of the Premier League than in the top teams in the Championship. In the Championship, you don't have that money, and so you have to find edges. You have to get good coaches and recruit well. Whereas in the Premier League, a lot of these teams know that they can go and take players off kind of, top teams in the Eredivisie or whatever, and so they don't actually go and find players who are good. They just go for top line stats. So you often see teams like Stoke just pick up guys who are unwanted on bigger sides or whatever, and that actually isn't a really good strategy to build in the long term. As a result, that kind of means that over a while they bleed talent and they end up becoming worse and worse. Plus, actually, when you see some of the managers in the Championship, they're vastly superior to some of the ones in the Premiership. So in the Premier League, West Brom are having a bad season, they turn to Pardew. Like Southampton are having a bad season, they turn to Mark Hughes, who'd already pretty much got Stoke relegated. Whereas in the Championship, you've got Nuno Espirito Santo, you've got Jokanovic. These are really good. Yeah. Progressive young managers. David Wagner as well, of course, he's had a great season. And even Chris Hughton, who's always played attractive football, got unfairly sacked by Newcastle a few years ago. And look where Pardew is now, look where Hughton is. And
I think the funny thing is, what is blocking these dynamic young managers getting jobs in the Premier League is old has-beens at current. So when Allardyce says that, English... Before he was hired by Everton, English managers aren't getting afforded the same opportunity as these random names from across Portugal or Spain. Actually, no, it's kind of you guys stopping other young managers coming through, and that's why we have Gareth Southgate in the national team setup. But yeah, it's interesting. I think Brighton have been a great case study this season for how to stay up and what players to pursue. Obviously, you're a massive fan of Pascal Gross, and we know that he was creating a lot of chances in Europe last season for a very poor side that ended up being relegated. But even, I think it was 3 million for Purpa, signing Iscrido, whose physical attributes are always going to be useful in the Premier League in terms of his speed and his pace. Speed and pace being the same thing, but he only cost 15 million, didn't he? So yeah, I think maybe that's probably a better way to phrase it. All this money means that other teams are getting complacent, and you maybe need to be a bit more inspired with that money.
Next question.
Yeah.
Before the next question, we'll go back to that Stoke game. Basically, the goal that Stoke scored was the 1,000th Premier League goal, and guess who scored it?
Peter Crouch.
Peter Crouch did
Hey,
score it.
Crouchy.
And speaking of lanky English strikers, Stuart Best wants to know, Andy Carroll for Russia.
Nice
for
segue.
God's
Best plan B or plan C?
Oh, that was a great link, Adam Templeman. That is a fantastic link. We just
I'm alarmed you've even accepted this question.
I'm firmly against Andy Carroll being anywhere near the plane.
Take Glenn Murray before you
Like plan A, forget plan B or C. He should be plan like Z. I wouldn't have him anywhere near it. Yeah.
He's not a plan.
I just how can he? I'm literally dumbfounded by the thought of somebody thinks Andy Carroll's a good plan B for England. He's not even a good plan B for West Ham. I mean, he's like third choice striker for one of the worst teams in the Premier League, behind Arnautovic, an ageing Hernandez, and then Carroll. What the hell are we thinking? If you're the person that has suggested this, get off the stream.
Take Tammy
Delete
Abraham.
your account. Delete Twitter now. Get outside and just have a long walk and have a think.
We're actually going to do 10 times Football Daily got it wrong, and probably Arnautovic is a strong contender for that list because he's been very, very good this season. Can West Ham finish like 10th or 17th this game week?
Yeah. I mean, they've had a bizarre season.
The Premier League
I stand by the Arnautovic take.
It's been poor from 6 below.
God,
aren't you only just breaking 80 points?
I'm actually fuming that somebody suggested Andy Carroll.
In second spot.
I can't even think straight. Andy Carroll. His name's actually come into conversation with England.
Well, we talked about Barkley. Why not Carroll?
Well, at least he's relevant.
Should we have another question about Wolves? Again, they're eating. Pair of it. Switch over to them now. It's catching cold.
Seriously though, can we have another question?
Well, okay, right. How about a World Cup related question?
Sure.
Yeah, go on.
Who should we be looking out for in the World Cup? And is there anyone who might surprise us and could carry their team?
Andy Carroll.
Not Andy Carroll. And I've had enough of your huffing, Ben Strong. So stop huffing at questions and deliver some good answers.
Oh,
Mate,
hello.
When you pull your weight, you
Ding,
can
ding, ding,
complain
ding,
to
ding,
me.
ding.
Like, look. I mean, I don't know who could surprise us. Or I mean, if we pick them out, then they're not that surprising, are they? Like, I think Nigeria will probably have a good tournament, like because they've got tons of young talent. I mean, I think Iheanacho, Iwobi, and Didi. That's quite a fun spine to that team.
Great.
Like at the very least, they'll play exciting football, not necessarily effective football. You know what? James Rodriguez will probably have a good season because he plays so differently for Colombia to the way he plays for his club sides.
El Tri, Lozano.
Lozano could be really good.
Corona. Corona.
Oh, Tecatito, yeah. And of course they've got the fullback who's Layun as well. Yeah. So there's a lot of talent in the Mexican squad. Yeah, maybe Lozano could take them a certain way, or Yahan Bash. Yep.
Yeah.
For Iran, who knows? He's had a great season as well. Sadar Azmoun as well. Like there's talent in the Iranian side.
Yeah, the obvious answer is Timo Werner, isn't it, for Germany? Like we've said time and time again, they've been crying out for a sort of out-and-out forward since Miroslav Klose retired. Who have they been playing? Thomas Muller played up front, didn't he? I think he scored in the last Euros. No, I'm thinking of
Peterson,
Gomez.
Wagner, yeah.
Yeah, and none of them to great effect. They've always kind of relied on having a very creative and proficient midfield. Well, not always, just in the last couple of tournaments. Breakout stars, it's hard. I feel like young talent has kind of been at the fore in your this
for a lot of teams.
More so than maybe in previous years. Yeah, and it's kind of.
Like you look at that French team, all the young talent in that, all of that young talent in that French team is like a renowned superstar on the European stage.
You say that, but because Koscielny's gone and because Sidibe's been injured, Benjamin Pavard has had a chance playing a right back. They've got Longley, the guy at Sevilla as well. I mean, then there's Torreira, who we've talked about. There's Bentancur, there's Lo Celso. These are guys who are going to go there with Argentina and Uruguay. Like
Giovanni Lo Celso was actually my answer on Continental Club when we discussed this.
And they've had weak central midfields actually. When you look at Argentina and Uruguay, like they have really good attacking teams, but not necessarily great defenders.
Yeah, Funes Mori still gets a game.
So there's space there.
What about the England team?
I don't mind ever
Kieran Trippier?
What?
Kieran
Trippier. Why would
Kieran
he play?
Trippier, I think he's going to start for England in the World Cup. Yeah.
That's because you think they're going to play 3 at the back.
3 at the back, and Kyle Walker plays the right centre back.
That's so
sure.
fantastically stupid.
Yeah, I think that's what Gareth Southgate will do.
The best fullback in the Premier League, probably.
Yeah, being played at centre half, and then he'll play Trippier on the outside, Young on the outside.
But Sterling could easily carry a side. So could Kane.
I think Sessegnon will also go, and it'll be the backup left back behind Ashley Young.
All right, ITK Joe.
Wilfred Ndidi, maybe for Nigeria. I really like Ndidi. I think he will be at a top club in the next couple of years.
Anyone in that Spain side?
Christ, who else?
Well, Asensio. It's the first time they've actually had a quick player in that Spain side for a long time.
Yeah.
Pedro's been getting older. Who has been the pace in that Spain side for years? It's been Jesus Navas and Pedro, and now that guy's Asensio. That's a huge upgrade.
Not a breakout player, but I think it could be a defining World Cup for Casemiro in terms of really stating himself as the best defensive midfielder in the world. I think potentially.
I mean, maybe. Brazil actually aren't short in that area for the first time in a long time. They have really good squad depth, don't they? Obviously, Dani Alves is now out for the World Cup, which is horrendous news because it's his last tournament. It's not exactly the swan song he deserves. So they're going to have to play, someone at right back. That's maybe a bit of an unknown entity. Portugal's front line is actually exciting me for the first time in a long time. When you kind of take Ronaldo out of it. Ronnie Lopez, who's contributed to a goal every 2 games, I think. What is this advert with Barcelona players chopping up vegetables? That has totally thrown me. PK's just thrown a bit of salmon across the kitchen table.
Messi's just got a bit of broccoli in a
shot. You've got Ronnie Lopez,
Gonzalo
Guedes, who's had a great season at Valencia.
Jota.
I think potentially Portugal, they might be a little bit more attacking than sort of like stoic, which is what they've been in the last couple of tournaments.
A lot of names there.
Keita Balde?
A lot of names. Next question.
I think Mane's more likely to be the key man for Senegal than Keita Balde.
Yeah, maybe both of them, Pat. Everyone's a winner.
But then they can't both carry the side, mate.
Yeah,
then they're just a good team, aren't
they? But Mane's not breaking out, is he?
Well, no, but you're just wrong just to deal with
it. But Keita Balde's probably already broke out as well. Being very aggressive today.
Yeah, it's a Sunday and I'm at work, mate. Livid.
We good? Right, I was just looking at the stats for the Newcastle-Chelsea game. These are interesting. Newcastle have had 11 shots. Chelsea have had 0.
Chelsea have had 0 shots.
0 shots.
Now, is that good?
Possession is 52-48 in favour of Newcastle. So.
Is that 0 shots on target or 0 shots?
Oh
0
my God.
shots altogether. No
Harry's
shots.
Razors, they just took our idea. Shaving balloons, we pitched that to them. It's on TV. Probably shouldn't be talking about this. Steal.
Back to the no shots, guys.
That's outrageous.
No shots. So let me just get the Chelsea team up today. Who's playing up front for Chelsea?
Do you know who's playing up front?
Who's playing as the central striker for Chelsea?
It is Olivier Giroud who's playing up top on his own. Behind him is Eden Hazard. In midfield is Emerson, Bakayoko, Kante, Barkley, Victor Moses.
That is just not creative enough midfield. That midfield is nowhere near good enough. There's so much work to be done in that midfield this summer.
Should we switch over to Chelsea for the second half?
Yeah, because I'm actually fascinated.
How feasible is that behind the scenes, guys?
Don't
give Joe the remote. Oh, God.
Oh, no. What channel is it on?
That one. I
think one of the sports.
It's Premier League. Yeah, all right. As easy as that. If you want to be switching over like we are, click the link in the description below. 25% off Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass. We've just gone seamlessly from Liverpool to Chelsea.
Exceptional work from you.
So no worries, guys. Social call.
Another question?
Yeah.
This one comes from Andy Robertson Carlos.
That's blow your mind.
And he wants to know, how do you rate Liverpool's chances in the Champions League final? And how do you think they'll fare in the league next season?
In the Champions League final, I think Real Madrid will beat them.
I think they're going to win.
The reason I think that Real Madrid will beat them is a word that Pato doesn't like: experience. Yeah, I think the fact that Real Madrid have been there.
That was Pato trying his best to engage in this conversation.
I think the way Real Madrid play is not necessarily Liverpool's favourite to play against. I don't think Real Madrid will come out at them at all. I think they'll have to break Real Madrid down.
Really, I think there's going to be they're both just going to go at it, I think, and I think there'll be a lot of defensive errors in there, or there'll be a lot of clear-cut opportunities.
Really? I'm not so sure. I think Real Madrid can adapt their game pretty well.
But when you look at them defensively, the defence has been woeful this season, given the quality in it. If you saw them the other day, I mean,
but they've got Dyche syndrome, where they're not the best defensive, but they just don't concede. They don't really concede goals.
Is that?
But that's not true at all. They've conceded goals all season.
Yeah. They've got Dyche syndrome.
But they've conceded goals above expectation all season until recently, where now they're conceding like 2 or 3 expected. They conceded 2 expected goals the other day against, I think it might have been against Celta in the Celta game or something.
Yeah.
And it's.
Beat Celta, Big 6 now.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
5-2, they won. They drew with.
And I also think.
And when you say like, oh well, they'll want Liverpool need to come out of them. That's what Liverpool do. Liverpool want that. They want. But when
Liverpool are going out team, I think that is tailor made for the Real Madrid front line as well. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is going to have so much space against Liverpool.
I don't know. They're not a team that.
Because Liverpool haven't so far in the Champions League or in the Premier League really met a team with a single individual star in terms of like I'll back Cristiano Ronaldo to single-handedly win Real Madrid that final.
Really? I'd go for Modric would be the guy. If Modric has a good game, he's the guy who escapes pressure in the midfield, and you saw against Bayern would press them and Modric would just walk away from pressure. I actually think that if there's one guy in the world who has the physical ability to just shackle Cristiano Ronaldo, Virgil van Dijk might well be that guy. He's as good as him in the air, he's incredibly fast, he's extremely strong.
Would you play Gareth Bale if you're Real Madrid?
Start him.
You'd start him?
I would. But going back to your point, I think they've actually got what helps them here is they've got 2 or 3 players who are world class at breaking that high press. We've seen Liverpool deploy it against Brighton here. They're literally sitting 20 yards into Brighton's half. And you've got Isco, who's insane at kind of shifting the ball, passing it all in one.
Just a little touch on the side as Jordan Henderson's hammering it.
And Luka Modric, who there's not many people that are sort of better in possession than him at the moment, although he got absolutely bossed by Rakitic in El Clasico, and I think Rakitic has been a little bit underrated this season, played the most minutes for Barcelona, been absolutely incredible. But yeah, they've got players, both sides have got players who are really adept at breaking the press, although Liverpool deploy it, Real Madrid, I don't really see them pressing necessarily as a team. They kind of apply pressure from the flanks, don't they? And they did that really successfully against PSG in the second leg, if I remember correctly, with and that's why he may not start Bale.
I think Lucas Vazquez will start the final.
That's why he may start Vazquez, just because of that pressing element. Although Bale has been a goal in El Clasico, 2 goals in against Celta Vigo, and against Barcelona. When they went, who went out of 10 men? It was actually Barcelona. It was another game. He started playing as an auxiliary right back, and he has that defensive output in him.
Who, Gareth?
Yeah, he used to be a wing back. Yeah,
but I think Bale will start on the bench because I think he, well, in the eyes of Zidane, can have a bigger impact from the bench than Vazquez can.
And also, like Zidane has said a million times, he said, Bale is a soloist. Like Bale comes on and kind of does what he's going to do, and that's where I think Liverpool might have an advantage. Liverpool are a team. They have a coherent plan that always produces something. Even when they're not playing well, their press will produce chances. Whereas,
oh my God,
we've seen a brutal nutshell.
Hazard has just absolutely thumped it into the nether regions of who's that centre half? Lascelles.
Is it Lascelles?
That ball was pretty low as well.
Oh dear, dearie me.
Brutal.
Jamal Lascelles has taken one for.
Oh, no good.
Square in the gonads. I would start Bale. Going back to non-testicle related chat. I would start Big Gaz. Did you see his second goal against?
Where he cuts back inside. It's outrageous.
I just think.
I hate this Chelsea kid.
I just think Zidane stands quite a lot to lose from not starting him on current form. And okay, if Liverpool are sort of overwhelming Real Madrid down one of the flanks, probably be the left, because Marcelo does not like defending at all, then he can bring Vazquez on, can't he? But does he start that 4-3-1-2?
So what's your prediction then? Let's get a score prediction for the final.
Real Madrid are going to win, aren't they? I want Liverpool to win, but Real Madrid are going to do it.
I think maybe 2-1 Madrid.
3-2 Liverpool.
Oh, that'd be a great game.
A
lot of goals.
I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Next question then.
Right, before we go to our next question, we've been asking you guys on Twitter to vote for some of our awards of the season, and we've got Unsung Hero. Temps, can you tell us who's won that on Twitter?
The winner is Roberto Firmino.
Oh,
it's
right,
the
okay.
Unsung Hero of the season.
Okay.
And the next one is Fan of the Season.
This is the big one.
Come on,
There's a prize-
Swaggerto.
There's a prize involved here.
Swaggy.
There is a prize.
What is the prize?
The
Swaggers.
prize is an FDFC shirt
Oh.
with your name on it.
There you go.
And
That's
I
a pretty
think
good prize.
we've got what the fans think on our Twitter, but then I think you guys are going to be
I
the
think we'll
final
have
decision.
we'll go undemocratic.
We're
Is
gonna.
Yeah?
Is it going to
we-
go second
we-
or is it going to go first?
We wanted to know the fans' opinion.
What's
What,
the
you want?
fans'
You want us?
opinion?
You want us to? No, hang on. Should we pick? This is gonna be a nightmare for whoever's vision mixer.
Go on.
Should we pick, and then you can clarify whether our choice is in line with the.
All right, let's do
Right.
that. Let's do
Okay.
that.
So who are the candidates? Go for it.
The candidates are Brighton Fan 1,
Yeah.
Will Crapenter, and Swaggerto.
Oh, top three.
What?
Top
What?
three.
Sonny just
So
missed it.
Patrick Van Straten is never in the comments, so he won't know this. But Brighton Fan 1 is basically first to comment on every video.
Couldn't care less, mate. Where's Liam Stewart?
Yeah, Liam
Oh,
Stewart.
so
He's
a
shout out to
disgrace.
Will.
Liam Stewart's big in the Twitter game,
This is fixed.
as is Has Kareem. And
Like
Ca-
all our competitions, this is fixed.
and Callie J. Yeah. But if you enjoy Star
What?
Wars, then go and watch it. Yeah, so Brighton fan 1 comments great video EFD and FD on pretty much most videos, but he was pretty disappointed with the audio this Sunday, which is when you know you've put out a bad video. Yeah, we'll sort that for next week. Don't you worry, guys. And Swaggerto. It was quantity over quality to start with, but he's definitely got better as the season goes on.
I'll tell you the reason that Swaggerto has to win this award. And that comes down to we needed to find a 30-second clip from a VFN. Swaggerto, rather than me having to search for all our videos, I simply tweeted Swaggerto and said, Swaggerto, I need your help, go and find this clip for me. He went back through his own downloaded archive, because he has downloaded the last 300 videos, searched every VFN to find a 10-second clip of Dave Jackson predicting that Jack Wilshere would come back into the Arsenal setup. Leicester have
Leicester
just gone
3-1
up against Spurs.
away at Spurs.
Iheanacho 2-2 as
Kelechi
well.
Iheanacho, my boy.
But anyway, yeah, Swaggerto went back through his archive, found the 10-second
Yeah.
clip of Dave Jackson saying that Wilshere will get back in the Arsenal setup, tweeted it to me, sent me the actual raw file. That
Yeah, but
Cannot be
But
Vincent.
Joseph, this is across the course of the season. If there was an outstanding individual, a moment
moment of the season, it's Swaggerto.
it'd be nailed on to win that. That is exceptional. But
No, come on.
who's the other person?
Will
Will
Crapenter.
Crapenter. Oh, Return of the Crap. Mate, the crap Meister is always in the Star Wars comments. He's always asking very sound questions. You know what? We don't even need to double check the Crap Meister's questions, because he gives us the right answer, which, believe it or not, is a rarity.
But he has to have misspelt his name. It has to be Will Carpenter.
Will Carpenter, John Carpenter.
Uh,
The thing.
who won anyway? Who won the poll?
No, we're picking. And
It's
he's telling us.
Swaggerto. It has to be Swaggerto.
Yeah, it's
Right, I've been done. I'd go Will Crap. I mean,
No.
Swag best individual moment, but Will Crap. Obviously, Stat was close to my heart.
Consistency.
Do you want to know the winner?
Yeah.
Of course, it's Swaggerto. Who else would it be?
Well done, Swag.
Well done, Swaggerto.
FDFC shirt coming your way. 3-2. Spurs, Leicester.
The Leicester
And-
game looks mental.
Where's the TV
press
remote?
that, because it's about to turn off.
No, this is not. This is
we've
the
been
Now
done.
TV remote. If you
Where's-
guys watch
where's
Now
the other
TV,
bloody
click the link
remote?
in the description
Oh.
below. But where's the TV remote? I'm gonna
All
have
things
to.
now-
The
TV.
technical team were here about 4 hours before we started.
All Things
Couldn't
Now
work out the
TV
TV.
working a treat. Everything we're responsible for.
I can't see a button. There's nothing left.
Well, under. Great.
Okay, until then,
While
Swaggerto.
Joe's sorting that out, should
Yeah,
we get
congratulations.
Oh! Olivier Giroud's almost scored a goal of the season.
I can't see because
Yeah.
Joe's.
Ask a question.
Yeah, right.
Townsend
We've had
away.
quite a lot of people asking this question, but they want to know what your predictions are for the World Cup.
Predictions
We'll
after the
win
World Cup. Sorry, I was
How many
watching
predictions do we need to make?
Olivier
for the World Cup?
Giroud is
I reckon
beautiful
let's
face.
do who do you think will be in the final and who do you think will win?
Great,
Alright, okay,
great
cool.
cue. Thanks, Liv.
You coming back over to us?
Clarified it.
Yeah. Okay. So potential winners for the World Cup. I'd like to see Brazil win it. I've
Fixed
said
it.
this. Nice one. Time and time again that I really like Tite's Brazil. I think Germany always going to be part of that conversation. Argentina, not a chance. I think Sampaoli's got a really imbalanced team, and they've lost a couple of friendlies since, haven't they? Quite convincingly.
Somebody clip that out now of him saying Argentina not a chance when they win it. And just reload that. Swaggerto looking at you, mate, and you'll get signed Argentina.
Take the time code down now, Swaggerto. Save yourself a bit of time. But yeah, so I'd like to see Brazil win it. What about you boys?
Well, I think about 6 months ago I said Italy, so that's gone well. But now I'll probably say Spain. I think Spain, one of the most well-rounded sides in the competition.
Bit old.
Maybe, but not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing when it comes to international football.
I think it is for the World Cup when you're asking Iniesta and Silva to start like 6 games in like 4 weeks. That's really difficult. Like Iniesta, his physical decline this season has been very clear, and you know that's really difficult when you do rely on his creativity. Asensio's got to have a great tournament. Isco's got to have a great tournament.
I think Isco's actually their joint top goal scorer with 5. So that's the kind of one thing they're missing. And I think Alvaro Morata, the fact he's been in poor form, not got recognised forward. But Spain, obviously one of the few nations that can play without a recognised forward.
Yeah, Spain for me, I think.
Craig Levine,
will win it.
4-6-0.
Still got Costa.
Not been great.
Yeah, but he's still good. I mean, like he'll still produce.
3-0 Liverpool, by the way.
Have we gone over to that?
Ooh, here it comes.
My current prediction is correct.
Oh my God!
What a finish!
Taken a deflection, hasn't it?
Surely a deflection. There's no way.
Tiny one off the goalkeeper.
Looked a bit loopy off the defender, I thought. I don't know. I'd like a France-Germany final, and I'd like France to win. Nice. However, I don't think they will. Oh God, I think probably Germany or someone dull like Brazil will win. I don't really want Brazil to win.
Why?
Because I just hate them.
What's your problem with Brazil?
I don't really like Tite that much.
Why? Because I like him.
Because he plays quite a dull team. Like I don't like him playing.
What do you mean?
Play Renato Augusto, who's a dreadful player.
Yeah, he's getting goals out of Paulinho. I think he's got 6 goals.
Paulinho should never play for Brazil.
Well, I mean, they were 7th when he came in, and they finished convincingly top thereafter. And he brought Gabriel Jesus in as that number 9, didn't he? And he was just
and as you've said, basically by talking about how bad Argentina are, there hasn't been a lot of competition. That's not. It's been quite a weak qualifying group.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, the quality of coaching in the South American group is absolutely dreadful at the moment.
I actually think it's been that's the toughest qualification to navigate. It always has been, and I think it still is.
I don't think it has been this year.
Compared to some of the groups that European teams get?
What's that got to do with it? Like the question is how easy it is for Brazil. Like, I think that it's been quite
South
easy
America
for Brazil.
I don't think the hardest qualifying group.
It's the hardest qualifying group, but I think that Tite, like the teams they've gone up against, I think they've been playing unbalanced teams with poor coaches.
But he came in on a deficit, right? So he had to make up the points.
3-0 Spurs.
At the same time, I don't know. I've never really. I don't really enjoy this version of Brazil. But I imagine they'll do well. They'll make at least the semis, you'd have thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been the strongest Brazil since 2002.
Mm-hmm. So it's Spurs 3, Leicester 3, by the way. Lamena's got 2.
Yeah, what a couple of games, that
are going on there.
Go on in outside the ones we're watching.
And we're watching Newcastle Chelsea. Do you know I hate watching Newcastle at home because the stadium makes it nearly unwatchable. The lighting through the roof. Look at that. That is disgusting to watch.
Oh God.
Awful. I hate St James's Park.
If I said this, you'd be so annoyed.
No,
but because it's you, it's fine.
Always frustrates me.
I think that's a valid point.
Come on.
But Kyle Barkley?
Who decided that?
Kyle Bartley used to play for Rangers and Swansea. Ross Barkley, that was good build-up play from him there. Did well to get kind of escape the defender down the right, pulled it across.
I've seen that.
Albeit a poor ball.
Just while we're on Chelsea,
Dubravka's been a good loan signing to return to our earlier question.
Just while we're watching this Chelsea game, I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans over the last couple of months hammering Victor Moses for being one of the worst in the Premier League for crossing a ball.
Yeah, most Chelsea fans I've spoken to this season don't have a good thing to say about anyone barring Kante.
Yeah, that's probably true. I think Azpilicueta's pretty good.
Eden Hazard. He looks like the Dolmio guy.
Let's get another question because we're talking about the Dolmio guy.
Degenerating.
Hard times.
Oh,
Matt Steck wants to know who is the best, or what was the best Premier League centre-back partnership this season?
This season?
Obviously Smalling and Jones. Calamitous. No, definitely Davinson Sanchez and Jan Vertonghen for me.
Ooh, that's a really good shout.
Actually. The game we were watching before,
it's an annoyingly good shout.
Brighton definitely deserve a shout, don't they? I think Arsenal have conceded more goals than Brighton, and for a team that have just come up, that's pretty good going. Although Arsenal obviously
Jan Vertonghen has been
Not watertight.
incredible this season.
Yeah, but I think he's been in. I don't think he's been standout like in any particular game, but just in terms of consistency, I think he justifies his place in the PFA Team of the Year. He's just super cool, isn't he? Like on the ball, he never looks under pressure.
Yeah, Jan Vertonghen and David
Tarkowski's got a shout as well.
Yeah, good shout, very good shout. What a ball that is. Who's played that?
Actually, been really delighted that Vincent Kompany has managed to put together a good run of games at the end of this season. And Otamendi and anyone that's played next to him has been very good at this season. I think.
Oh! 2-0 Newcastle.
Did Perez touch that?
That is a robbery. Perez is doing a Harry Kane. He's claiming it. There's no need for it either.
He definitely touched it.
Let's see, because John Joe Shelvey, aka Lord Voldemort,
I hope this goes down as
from
Shelvey
distance,
goal.
and it looks like it's kind of gone through a couple of legs. Maybe Perez got a little touch. Maybe it was a flick, an intentional flick, and maybe we're selling him short here.
Look at that ball by Diame. That's filth.
Diame has been quietly very good for Newcastle, I think.
Does he get a touch here, Jose Perez? Ball is headed out.
That is calamitous defending from Chelsea.
It's a
what
smart
are they doing?
Bakayoko.
Look at that line.
Terrible.
Where is Gary Cahill?
Smart from Shelvey.
I think he has touched it.
I think that's a great touch.
Has he touched it?
Yeah, this is clever from Shelvey. Because he knows if it takes a touch, it's
Oh,
going to
lovely by Jose Perez. Great finish.
Perez, the boy.
Here you go. What about John Joe? On the plane or not on the plane?
I mean, I wouldn't be totally mortified if he was. Like he does have qualities that not many of the England players have. Like he has a nice long raking pass. He kind of sets the pace in midfield when he feels like it. But I just don't think he's got that match intelligence that you necessarily need at a World Cup. Like you often see him kind of switch off. He loses his man a fair amount, and I just don't think he's as well-rounded as other candidates. Unfortunately, I don't think England have many very complete midfielders. So we probably will go with two shielding at the World Cup, which is a little bit uninspiring, and it means it's harder to put Dele Alli in the side. But I imagine it'll be Eric Dyer and someone.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be.
What are you doing there, Palmer?
Dele Alli's definitely going to play. I think that because he's going to play three at the back, I think John Joe stands a good chance of playing. It's the other midfielder alongside Dele Alli. I think it was going to be alongside Eric Dyer. I think it was going to be Eric Dyer and Oxlade-Chamberlain, but now Oxlade-Chamberlain's injured. I think there's a massive hole open for either a Shelvey or a Loftus-Cheek. Or maybe even a Wilshere. Don't discount it.
I'd love to see a Loftus-Cheek get
Dyer
a
and
shot.
Shelvey. It'll be Oxlade-Chamberlain, not Oxlade-Chamberlain. It'll be Wilshere before it's Loftus-Cheek.
The real tragedy,
I don't know.
tragedy is that Milner's retired from international duty.
Yeah.
Because he'd be such a good partner
That is a very good point.
for Dyer. He's so reliable.
Oh, great defending by
Good header.
Sage.
Never
Chelsea
foul.
are holding on by the skin of their teeth. This is a Newcastle side that have struggled for goals all season. I think Chelsea is still yet... Oh no, they've had one shot. They didn't have an entire shot in the first half. Giroud's very speculative effort nearly went in. But Newcastle have been peppering them since then. And why is that? I think the Chelsea defence looks all over the place.
Ooh.
Chelsea just...
And into the post here.
I have to say
Is
that.
this just a deflated group of players?
I don't know, but I actually think this is going to be Rafa Benitez's last game as Newcastle manager.
You think he'll get a better move?
Yeah, I just don't think he'll... he's already publicly fallen out of Ashley once. I think Ashley is not going to give him the funds and he'll just leave in the summer.
Do you think he'd... And he is pretty much like Liverpool through and through, but I can imagine him taking Everton to the next level.
No,
It'd be a
he'll
good
just wait,
fit
never join it,
personnel-wise,
never
but
join
I
it.
just don't... I don't think he'll do it. I'm not sure where he'd go.
Nice.
Go on then, Ross. Bit of
Breaks
running
on it.
power.
Foul
He does
it.
have this in him.
Oh my God, the guy tried to foul
Oh
him
my
and
God,
missed
the
it.
idiot.
Nice.
Not a good ball though.
That's not totally...
Come on.
Finish it!
Oh, you
Oh,
simple time.
Barkley! What a chance for Chelsea.
Ross. He deserved to score there. He deserved to score.
Did so well then, Barkley.
Ran the
yeah.
ball 40 yards. And I like Barkley, I think, more so than you guys. Well, I know more so than Pat. There's not a lot of things Pat likes, barring his cat and, a good meal.
Barkley did well then,
Yeah, Aperol spray.
but
Get it in me.
he has to score. Has to score at this moment in the
Needs to
game.
go to the
Or
other
leave
side of the
it.
keeper.
Or leave it to the guy who's on his right foot. Leave it to Kante, who's actually on his right foot,
Yeah.
instead of
I'd back
trying to
Kante.
hook it with his left foot.
I'd back Kante to miss from there. He's terrible at finishing.
Yeah, but if Kante missed, I'd say, oh well, at least he's had a good season. Whereas Barkley misses, and I think, idiot, useless.
Well,
He overhit the pass in the first place as well, the moron.
I think Barkley is kind of set up to fail at Chelsea. I'd like to see it. He shouldn't have stayed at Everton. He wasn't really
I don't know.
being played, was
I
he?
feel sorry for
Hazard.
Drinkwater before I feel sorry for Barkley, to be
Okay.
honest. I think Drinkwater's a
What a weird
vastly
signing.
superior player.
Drinkwater and the fullback from Torino, who looks like...
Zappacosta.
He's literally, if you've seen Ash play for FDFC, he's got the same physique as him.
He looks like Luigi from...
He looks like one of those things outside of a a garage that just goes like.
Who's this? Zappacosta?
Zappacosta.
He needs an Antonio Conte.
He's an
Zappacosta.
otter.
He needs a
He's an
hair
otter,
transplant.
is
He
what
does not look like an athlete.
Right, anyway, let's get another question.
Yeah.
Right, our next question stays on the theme of the World Cup, and it's from Andy Smith.
Oh my God.
Goal! 3-0 Newcastle.
Oh,
Sorry,
wow.
Liv, I missed
Sorry,
that as well. I was
Liv.
looking at the pizza.
Sorry, Liz.
What a ball from
Gone
Lejeune.
wrong.
What a ball from Lejeune.
Chelsea falling apart.
Oh my
Antonio Conte's last game as a Chelsea boss. And this is
Yeah,
what
I
happens.
mean, and Roman Abramovich doesn't let many 3-0 kind of slips go without punishment, does he? I was surprised. I was surprised when Conte survived that loss at home to Bournemouth, and now Newcastle, the Geordies,
Extremely chill Geordies.
are going mad.
Oh, this is a great ball in. By the way, Newcastle do a little well interesting. Look at
John
the
Jab
bloke
again.
miles offside, just like clearly offside by about 15 yards.
Yeah,
just
but it's
not
a
involving
plan,
in
isn't
the
it?
play.
They're trying to drop the line.
And he's just onside.
I
Perez
think he might
taps
be
it
off.
in,
I
but
think he might be off.
Another little tap in for Perez. Well,
that's clearly a really well
Flick
worked
on
free
side.
kick by Newcastle.
I do like Jose Perez.
3-0.
Who is that at the back post? Isn't Dummett still playing for Newcastle?
That's Lejeune who plays that across the ball.
Yeah, I like Lejeune.
That is a great
Lejeune's
result for
been a decent
Newcastle.
signing, actually.
Lejeune and Lascelles, they're a candidate for the best centre-back pairing.
Game over. 3-0 Newcastle against Chelsea.
Oh, no. I thought I'd just go to the north and do some casual racism, but instead I've got to watch my team
Antonio
lose.
Conte has
no.
probably featured in his last game for Chelsea here. They're 3-0 down.
I'm
Chelsea
glad that we've been able to share Chelsea being B and being resigned to Europa League football together. Thank you for being here for that. Thanks to Now TV for putting this on, because I've really enjoyed their.
Spurs
Lamella's
4-3,
got a
Lamella
hat-trick.
Hattie.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my!
That sounds like a game that would be great to watch.
Yeah, the only game. Can we switch
What?
that? Is
No.
it on?
No.
The only game. What? I should know that. The only game that has rivaled that today has been Rangers Hibs 5-5.
Yes. Incredible.
A
Also-
goal
also
glut
didn't see it.
on the final day of the season. Yeah, we watched that with Luis Aberdeen.
Sorry,
the
sorry,
quality of
Liv.
the
We
goals in that
interrupted
game.
you then when the goal went in.
Live stuff.
Right. Andy Smith, again, sorry. He wants to know, do you think Sane will be starting for Germany, or how do you think they could be lining up at the World Cup?
I think we'd all hope so.
It's actually an interesting one. We haven't really talked about this. We talk a lot about. We get loads of questions about France's starting 11 and England's starting 11, but the Germans is interested.
Imagine benching a player of the quality of Leroy Sané.
Yeah.
So Sane will start, I presume, in a front three with Werner and Müller.
Did Germany
Yeah,
play
probably.
4-3-3?
They have done in the past.
That's
They're
not even
normally-
me like questioning this.
They're normally quite formationally versatile, aren't they? Like Löw is quite happy to.
So
switch
let's start on
things
the back.
around.
Does Neuer start? Does he go?
If he's fit, he starts.
Yeah.
So let's say he's fit. Neuer starts.
I think I'd start Ter Stegen.
Kimmich starts at right back.
I actually don't think that. We said about 5 or 6 weeks ago, if Neuer comes back for the last 4 or 5 games of the season and looks fit, he probably starts. Because Löw's pretty
But he hasn't, has he?
loyal to his men. But yeah, I actually think you're right. I think Ter Stegen might start.
Okay,
a
so-
man who's making 5 saves for every goal he concedes has to start.
Yeah. So Ter Stegen,
Outrageous.
Kimmich is at right back, fairly obviously.
Boateng, Hummels.
Boateng, Hummels is always going to be
Hummels,
centre
by the
back.
way, has had an absolutely insane season.
Who's the left back?
Amazing.
A great dribbler as well.
The left back is. It could be Hector. It could be Philipp
Yeah,
Max,
that's
who
Hector.
of course was the top assister in the Bundesliga this season from left back for Augsburg.
Did he finish on 12 assists?
He was on 12 at one point, and I didn't check it since then. I don't know who else. There was somebody else as well. Oh, Plattenhardt. Plattenhardt might be a candidate, or Klosterman from RB
So that's going to be the back four, midfield.
Talk about just like regeneration. Like you've got on either flank top assister in the Bundesliga and your boy from Bayern. Why is the name just slipped my mind? Joshua Kimmich, who's no one's contributed to more goals than him for Bayern in the Champions League this year.
outrageous.
Just yeah.
So midfield, Toni Kroos is going to be in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Khedira is a candidate
Been
after a good season.
good season with you.
Joachim Low loves him as well, doesn't he? Khedira. But
obviously-
plays a lot.
I don't think
Sort of
Emre
a lot of
Can's
games
played
on.
enough to get a
No, neither do I.
to get a starting role.
think Kroos-
Weigel's had a bad season.
He likes Draxler, and I feel like Draxler can play in a midfield 3.
Goretzka. What about Goretzka? Goretzka's had a great season.
Yeah,
I don't know whether. Who else are we missing in that midfield?
Lyon.
Leo.
Well,
that is their deep midfield. Like normally their deep midfield is something like Kroos, Khedira. I
And
think
then Ozil's obviously going to be in front of that. As it,
Ozil will be in front
in
of
the
that for
midfield
sure.
three, you'd think. And then obviously a front three of
Yeah,
Sane,
if he's
Müller
fit,
and
if he's
I mean, that's why I question the 4-3-3. Ozil.
Maybe it's more of a 4-2-3-1 and Sane and Muller are more floating wingers, which I don't think is the worst option by any means. And I think if that is the team, it's very strong. Although I do question the depth a little
as well
bit.
as a wide option, and he actually played in the 3-man midfield this season.
I think Nicolas Sula will obviously go as a backup.
Sure, they can play three at the back quite happily.
They have incredible strength. Sula's been great at the end of this season. So you imagine it's going to be. What about some more of those boys from the Confederations Cup winning side then that were second string? Have any of them, barring
Who was there?
Timo Werner, done enough to kind of raise question marks?
I mean, Gnabry might well go. Gnabry's had an outstanding season for Hoffenheim, so that I think would be quite fun.
Best loan signing?
Yeah, Gnabry's a really good shout. I think that you'd expect that Gnabry will go in the squad. But yeah, there are certain people who just have to start, and that spine of the team is pretty obvious. I mean, you've got
established.
like Werner, Ozil, Kroos, Hummels. Those for me are the guys that you absolutely have to play. And then around that, there's just so much floating talent. They can bring in Julian Brandt if they want. They can bring in Benny Henrichs as a fullback option on either wing. They can bring in Kai Havertz as a backup cam or Mario Götze.
Is it a little bit too early for Kai Havertz?
You reckon they might take
But
Wagner?
Germany have a record for this, don't they?
You reckon they'll take Wagner?
Normally they do as a plan B. I'd have thought they would.
I think they will as
well. If Henrichs is going to go, maybe Jonathan Tah as well as a good backup option, along with Nicolas Sula.
Yes.
As strong as France are, Germany are equally as strong, in my opinion. And they've just not got as much firepower.
Let's get another question then from Social Corner.
Yes, the next question is from Jax. He says, what do you think of Lacazette and Aubameyang's partnership?
Pato, take the floor.
It's good. I mean, like the thing is, at the beginning, there were people kind of saying that they want to play in the same space, which actually I don't think has ever really been true. Weirdly, I don't know though. You also said that you didn't know what Wenger would do with them, and we kind of none the wiser now because we have no idea what the next guy would do with them. It seems to be that Aubameyang's been playing off the wing, but basically Arsenal have done this system where they'll start a guy on the wing, but in reality they're playing two up front. Aubameyang, really creative player. He's done a really good job. Oh my good God!
God, who's just missed a sitter at the back post?
Chelsea are just piling
Olivier.
A sitter may be a little bit harsh, but go on, sorry.
Look at him, though.
Chelsea have been in the ascendancy last 5 minutes, and actually quite a lot of it's come through Ross Barkley.
Now they're just sitting four on the back line.
But that's been Victor Moses on the right-hand side.
It's a hard chance to finish. Yeah. But
the
defender actually did a good job getting across. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It looks very promising. I think that's going to be just a pretty solid, combination between those two players. They're both pretty creative. Lacazette's been creating 2 chances a game this season, and he's got 14 Premier League goals quite quietly, which is pretty decent, really. It's more than Hazard. It's a couple shy of Lukaku.
Yeah, 15's as a solid debut season. So
I said I'd be happy with 16 at the beginning of the season. We're a bit shy of that, but he did have some games out injured. It's not, given how bad we've been this season, it's not too bad, right?
He would have had more opportunities, if Aubameyang obviously hadn't come through, I think he may have hit that target.
Yeah, and I think Aubameyang's on double figures now, maybe.
Yeah, he's got one goal behind Morata. Yeah. What we actually haven't discussed in regards to this match, which obviously you can watch with your Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass.
Click the link in the description below.
If you haven't got one already and you're a Barcelona fan, then you're in luck because Barcelona, Levante, and they are. Yeah, we're available all the time, every time. I reckon what we haven't discussed is the effect this might have on Chelsea going into the FA Cup final.
Yes.
Because this is only going to serve to annoy Chelsea fans. Maybe speed up Conte's exit. More negativity is going to surround Chelsea. Yeah. After that result against Liverpool as well, you wanted them to build some momentum going into the final because, who do you want to win? Picking between Manchester United and Chelsea is like...
So when the Nazis fought the Russians.
Yeah, voting UKIP or Conservative. That's the best analogy I could think of. Let's not get political there. Or let's. No, that's not. So, do you think this is going to play a big role?
Hopefully, because having said that, United haven't exactly been in the most sterling form going into it, have they? So, I mean,
winning today,
whereas Chelsea on the other hand,
a scraping 1-0 against Watford at home. With a completely rotated side. I don't think either of these sides are going to be the same teams that you see line up on the final, which is obviously
but you've going to have a bearing. Personnel, right? Lukaku, has he been rested?
No, he's injured. Still hasn't come back from his injury yet.
That's a shame.
He had a bad knock, didn't he, on his left ankle against Brighton, I think it was. Oh, Wilfried Zaha has just put Palace 1-0 up. There he goes, the most important player to a team in world football. Yet again, making an impact. But no, I don't think either of these teams are going to be the same teams that line up in the final, so I don't think they'll mind too much, to be honest.
Go on, and Ross looks like he's playing for the middle now, and he is.
He's always been a dynamic runner. The problem with Ross is he's good at running to places, but when he gets there, he's not great at doing things. That's kind of one of his issues. Whereas, Bakayoko, on the other hand, is just always about, but not really technically capable of doing anything.
Pochettino would have got more out of him than the revolving door of managers at Chelsea, that's for sure.
But I think they could have just waited and got him on a free this summer. They got a guy who wasn't fit for like 15 mil.
The utter state.
It does fit. I completely agree. He'd have been better under Pochettino.
Look at Cahill. Look at him.
Leave him alone, mate. He's
He's
just
so
rubbish.
bad, Gary Cahill.
No one's defending him. But this idea that he's like a totally useless player. He's a Champions League winner. He's won a couple of titles.
He's got gorgeous biceps.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
And a pretty good fade
Wonder
as
what
well.
he does for those.
Let's get another question then.
Right. Keep sending us your questions using the hashtag FanHour on Twitter and in the comments below. But our next one comes from Aresh11, and he wants to know who can replace, if anyone, Iniesta at Barcelona.
No one.
That's a very, very good question, because even recently against Villarreal, like Pato said, he can only play 60 minutes, but in that time he's still getting 2 assists. And they've got industry in midfield, haven't they, in the form of Rakitic, and Busquets has had a very, very good season. But again, looked a bit jaded at the weekend and needs a rest. Paulinho has played for, I can't quite remember the number, I tweeted it out. Damn, where's Swaggertone? You need him. But he's played like non-stop for like 50 weeks or something stupid. So he'll need a rest as well. They've signed the young kid from Gremio, haven't they? What was his name?
Oh, Arthur.
So maybe there's a fair amount of responsibility resting on his shoulders.
I think.
But Coutinho is supposed to be the person, right?
Yeah, so I think.
And of course, Lionel Messi.
Yeah, exactly. I think Lionel Messi is
going
going to continuously drop deeper and deeper and deeper. I saw his average heat map this season. I think he's effectively like an attacking midfielder. I think by like 1 or 2 years, he's going to be almost a central midfielder, especially with the signing of Antoine Griezmann to play in that front three. When Antoine joins and you've got Ousmane Dembele, Suarez and Antoine Griezmann, I think Messi will be playing deeper, and Coutinho is obviously going to have to do that role as well. It's
hard to see creativity ever being a problem for this Barcelona side.
I wouldn't worry.
I feel like defensive work in the midfield has always been an issue for them. I think Hammer was absolutely right.
The Busquets replacement's going to be harder.
Protecting Busquets is way more important than replacing Iniesta at the moment.
But how do you replace Busquets?
Well, that's the thing. You need somebody at the moment to help him out, and you also need somebody who ideally can turn into him in the long term.
He actually had an injection to play a game, I think, 2 weeks ago, which I think was a little bit irresponsible. But Barcelona have got hung up on the idea now of going through the season unbeaten, and they are exactly the sort of club that wherein Busquets is going to play in order to secure that record, because it's another like stick that can beat Real Madrid with, right?
Yeah, it was understandable. But
so yeah, I think if they'd been beaten, I think he wouldn't have played. He came off against Villarreal after 70 minutes. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Busquets, if they can get another 2 or 3 world-class seasons out of Busquets, I think not an awful lot can go wrong in that midfield.
Yeah.
Willian has got the face of a man who really does not want to come on in this game.
Yeah.
3-0 down away at Newcastle against Benitez.
Morata's just been chucked on as well. Morata's just come on for Giroud, and Willian's come on.
That's a very good handsome for handsome replacement, though.
Yeah.
They've maintained the handsome.
Who has
level. What product does Morata use?
I was just about to ask. Who has slicker hair, Perez or Morata? There's a poll.
Or
they both look like when an oil tanker crashes and they're pulling like ducks out of the water. Yeah. That's what they both look like.
Ducks.
It was actually a shout.
Yeah,
every time there's an oil tanker crash, they're like all the ducks. The ducks are gone.
There's actually a shout by
Rotterdam.
Oh my God! 4-4 at Wembley.
My God, Jamie Vardy with his 20th goal of the season.
But just going back to greasy hair, it was actually a shout by Kieran a couple of weeks ago on his comment show. So go and check that out. But
it was 100 points.
It was about Keylor Navas being also included in the
he's
mix.
cut it though, hasn't he?
Well, he has, but when he was Rocky Ponytail, I don't know what the hell he was doing in the shower.
He doesn't even have the greasiest hair in Costa Rica, mate. Brian Ruiz.
Oh, Brian Ruiz, yeah.
Brian Ruiz is gorgeous, mate.
Yeah, but
how he looks
Brian
that
Ruiz
elegant.
is
You
like
can forgive
Alice
him for the
Cooper,
dinks.
mate. He's a state.
I watched Benfica versus Sporting recently. It was an absolutely dreadful game. The only thing that lit it up for me was how elegant Brian Ruiz still remains to be.
I'll forgive Brian Ruiz for
to
anything
say,
because he's a dink king.
Europe's top 5 leagues, definitely Portugal is top of the list when it comes to greasy hair.
Yeah, I actually agree.
Portugal is an absolute grease fan.
I don't know how
Even
I don't know how the
Cristiano got some pretty
Liga
greasy
Noche
hair.
has sneaked into Europe's top 5 because it's been poor this season from what I've gathered.
It's not in Europe's top 5 leagues, is it?
It's
No, I
dreadful,
think
but it is when it comes to
I think FIFA.
sheen.
I think FIFA. It might be. We had this debate, didn't we? Again, it might have just been a fan misleading me.
God, Marissa.
Anyway, let's get another question.
It's actually 5-4 to Spurs right now. Harry Kane's just scored.
Oh
so
my!
that
So
game's-
how does Harry Kane need another 2 to equal?
Oh my God,
Salah.
there it is.
Harry Kane is now on 30 goals, isn't he?
Yeah, so he's 2 behind.
So
Salah.
it's
Salah's
two
Salah's
behind.
won it.
Is this Kane's best ever season then? Because he's not in that 31 list, so that must be his best season.
If he gets one more, yeah, he'll be one of the best strikers in Premier League history.
I think in terms of minutes, he's probably outdoing everyone, barring Salah.
barring Salah, definitely. Apart from guys.
I
who
reckon he's
like
played
12
less minutes than Salah.
Like Umar Niasse has probably got like some insane record.
Temps. What was the Man City score?
Man City's got still 0-0.
Oh, that's really annoying. I want them to reach 100
I
points.
think it's still still 0-0 at the moment. Yeah.
I'm going to look at the minutes to goals.
But next question is from M. Derbyshire, who is talking about Robertson at Liverpool.
Yeah.
Is that the best bargain of the season so far? He cost them £8 million.
Was that in the summer?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
It
Yeah.
was.
Oh, I feel like it might have
From
been
home.
before then. Yeah, 8 million is an absolute steal. But
The best bargain is a huge shout there. I mean, we've spoken about Pascal Gross before. That's an outrageous transfer.
3 million, yeah.
He's kept them up. And I mean, how much money do you get for staying up in the Premier League? They've finished, at worst, I don't know where they'll finish, but at worst, they'll finish 17th, which means there's £2 million a place, plus like 100 mil for staying in the Premier League.
and it works its way down from 38.
Outrageous.
So if they finish
great
if they finish
transfer.
10th, they get.
Hard to
Yeah,
argue with Robertson.
I think it
there.
works its way down from 40, so they'll get 20, I think,
Yeah,
if you
they'd
finish
get-
10th. So think how much money that is. That guy might have made them 150 mil and he's cost them 3.
That's effectively paid for him, as Corrido and Proper.
Yeah,
could buy them a new
Pascal
stadium.
Gross. I mean, I would still go for Robertson though. I think Robertson.
Should we
just
best?
shocked everyone.
So best bargain in the Premier League, and then we'll discuss Europe as well.
Yeah,
But
best
like-
bargain in the Premier League for me is Robertson.
Really?
Yeah, at left back.
I think he's had a great January onwards, but at the start of the season, if he demonstrated that form across the course of the whole season, and maybe in terms of most improved, for sure. He's one of the fittest players in the Premier League. I can't believe the press on the guy. But across Europe, can you think of any absolute steals? I was thinking, why did buy and sell Costa? He was so good in the Coppa Italia.
He didn't seem like he fitted them. I mean, Bruno Fernandes went to Sporting for about £8 million, I think.
Yeah, you like Bruno, yeah.
I think he's been involved in 20 league goals. He's 23. That's pretty exciting for them. I don't know. I mean, I feel like Lazio got Lucas Leiva on a free. That worked out pretty well for them.
Is this from TT's first or second season?
Second.
Okay. It's hard to say though, isn't it? I can't think of any on the spot.
Yeah.
There'll be somebody else.
We'll come back to you if we think of another bargain. Let's have another question now in the time being.
Now keep sending us your questions in using the hashtag
Switch.
#FanHour.
What a tackle. Sorry.
But Fribs wants to know, is David Silva key to Spain having a chance in the World Cup this summer?
I mean, he'll be one of the players for sure, won't he?
Probably, yeah.
He's had a personal best season at Manchester City, so he's coming into it.
Not as key as he has been in the past, though, I don't think.
No, I think he's always been a little bit secondary when it comes to the national setup. This might be one of the first times that he's probably going to shoulder more responsibility than Iniesta.
Oh, he's got an enormous number of caps though. I agree. I think Silva is actually more important than Iniesta in this one, just purely because I think he can still take the minutes a little bit better than Iniesta can. But yeah, if both of those got injured, you'd still think that Isco and Asensio plus Thiago Alcantara, you've still got a pretty decent
It's not
attack.
bad, is it?
Thiago
The midfield's not too shabby. I mean,
is sick.
I mean, some of the players that won't even go are ridiculous, aren't they? Like we're
The
not even
neckline
talking about
on this shirt, by the way.
No, we're not even talking about the likes
Should
of Coque and that going, are we?
Should we
Or
quickly
Sawney,
do
but it's
our
like,
Spain XI then?
it's going to be insane, isn't it?
Should we go for a 4-3-3 or
Obviously, they got the best
4-5-1?
keeper in the world, so that helps, the back line.
Yep, De Gea definitely then. What, right back?
Carvajal.
Carvajal,
Carvajal's been brilliant
Ramos
this
and
season in La
Piqué
Liga.
guaranteed to be centre-half.
Yeah,
partnership.
Jordi Alba left
Jordi
back.
Alba
He's
at
had
left
a
back.
sensational season.
Busquets will be at DM.
Midfield 3. Busquets, Silva.
And Iniesta.
I'd play.
I don't think you can play
no,
Silva
can't
and
play-
Iniesta.
I'd play Thiago if he's fit, definitely.
Don't think he'll be
you
fit.
need Busquets needs that help. I'd definitely play Thiago, and I think about playing Saul as well.
Yeah.
I really would.
Saul has been great this season actually. Really a big game player, isn't he, Saul? I like.
Coque as well,
he is.
potentially might be on the plane.
He'll definitely go. Yeah, sure.
Okay, then forward 3. What? Diego Costa spearheading it, flanked by
Asensio.
Asensio and Isco.
maybe Isco in that midfield 3 and someone else.
Yeah, if
I
you're
think
going to
Isco
play,
will be pressed
it depends who you're
further
playing in the midfield. If you're playing Thiago and say Saul in midfield, then play Isco. But if you're going to try and play fit in Iniesta and Silva, then
Or if
drop Isco out maybe.
Or if you do what Zidane does and maybe play, instead of the 3, you play the 1-2 and you play Isco as that roaming 10 that causes. I think that's what he's been doing in qualification, like to score 5 goals.
I worry a
the
little bit
options are
about the
ridiculous.
defensive intensity of that team, but yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, maybe if I'm going to do that though and play 2 up, then maybe I think about playing Asensio actually behind Morata and Diego Costa. I think that'd be really fun.
Maybe,
I don't think Morata will start, definitely not.
Yeah, he's so good though.
Yeah, but he's just so out of form.
He's been pony at the end
Just
of the
so-
season.
Still incredible at getting chances, and I mean that's more than Diego Costa can say over the back end of the season.
Diego Costa's not a great season full stop, has he?
Yeah, and
Didn't play for 6 months.
and it's
in a
about,
World Cup, yeah.
but maybe they'll play Asensio as a false 9, like he's certainly capable.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. So that would be our team anyway, I think.
Yeah, next question.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, just talk about the Arsenal game. There's a banner flying over Arsenal saying, "We'll miss you, Arsene," and then followed by, "You're next, Kroenke." Which is quite good. Yeah.
Pretty rash.
Arsenal
To say is
fans managing to sour what should be, a just splendid sign-off.
We've always got negative things to talk about. This is good. Next question
You're
from
pathetic.
We are the
Anush.
worst type of fan.
Yeah, you as a social corner parent and Arsenal fan.
Yeah, that's true. Anusha has the next question. He says, will a new Chelsea manager impact the retention of stars like Eden Hazard and Fibo?
What was the question?
Basically, will Chelsea stars stay if a big manager comes through the door, I imagine?
Well, I think it's more the problem is, will they stay if they're not in the Champions League? And I think the answer is no. I think Courtois is going to leave, and I think Hazard will probably leave if they don't get Champions League football.
I don't think Courtois is that good.
Yeah, I don't think they should worry about selling Courtois. If they get a big offer for him, he's the one that you sell if it enables you to keep, say, Kante and Hazard.
Do you think his form's dropped just because he's hell-bent on getting back to Madrid and back to his kids and his girlfriend, understandably? Like, imagine being stuck at Stamford Bridge. Ugh.
I don't know. I don't see them being able to hang on to. Do you think Hazard plays in Europa League side? I just don't see him playing in Europa League team.
Well, they missed out altogether on European football 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, but wasn't that the season before they won the Champions
And
League?
that's also when he's 25 and can afford to maybe miss a season, right?
Fair point. I mean, on the other hand, they could basically play their youth FA Cup winning team in the Europa League and not really worry. They'd probably still make it through to the knockouts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Their youth team's absolutely insane. I think actually that should
go.
be what they're looking for, a coach who's going to start blooding some of those youngsters because they've got insane young talent.
I think Willian might leave. I said that like
Will.i.am.
Paul Merson. Yeah, I think Willian might leave, and I think he should be snapped up regardless of his
Man
age.
United will take him.
Yeah, United will pay through the
United will take it.
Yeah, I think Eden Hazard at 27 now, if he demonstrated what's happened in the Liverpool
4-0
game.
Liverpool.
Oh, good God.
Is it Danny Ings? It's
Ah,
Robertson.
I like that finish.
Robertson.
Deserves it. Wouldn't have begrudged Danny Ings a goal either. Bloody love an underdog story, don't I? Yeah, I think Eden Hazard, if he'd had the same sort of season as last season, maybe Real Madrid would still be sniffing. But I just think there's no buzz around a Chelsea player, is there, at the minute?
No.
And
Which is a shame because Eden Hazard is, like, I said it on Hot Takes actually, I think he suffers a little bit from Paul Pogba syndrome. He's like unbelievably talented, but just his attitude on the pitch is just not good enough at times, I think, Eden Hazard.
I think the problem with Eden Hazard is that you're asking him to make the difference in every game all season long. And the thing is, he does it more often than not. But
Has he even got double figures in goals or assists this season?
Yeah, he's got 12 goals and 4 assists, but which is not that many. I completely agree, that's not great. But my issue for Hazard is I'd be like, look at the managers I've played under: Di Matteo, Villas-Boas, Benitez, Hiddink, Mourinho, Conte, these are all defensive coaches, primarily defensive coaches.
True.
And I'd start to look around at the other wide players who are getting 20 goals a season. I'd think, are these guys more talented than me? You know, you look at Salah, you look at Neymar.
But they're not.
You know, and you'd start to think, if I played under a more attacking coach, would I get 20 goals in a season? Yeah, I probably would. I think if Hazard was playing under, like, say, Sarri or something, he'd be a 20-goal, 10-assist player.
I think both come into play. I mean, look at Chelsea. I completely agree in terms of when they play against big teams, they've been unbearable in terms of their setup. I don't think was it against Manchester United. I think he touched the ball. I think he completed 7 passes in Hazard before he was hauled off. But yeah, the thing is, he's also done it at times again, completely ineffective. You know, against West Brom, completely ineffective against Southampton. But yeah, I mean, when you're kind of someone who is not an out-and-out wide man, because he can play as number 10 as well, kind of taking on that burden of also scoring all the goals and also creating all the chances, it would start to wear a little bit thin, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if they brought in a high caliber manager, if Allegri was like, listen, Morata's staying, I'm bringing in this player, and Eden Hazard, oh my God.
Oh my good God.
Courtois, you got there pretty comfortably in the end.
I thought he was going to take Iosi Perez's head off.
I mean, if Allegri's like I think a manager of Allegri's caliber could, to answer the question, could convince him to stay. Also, I don't think Real Madrid are going to bid £150 million from any more they might have last summer, when they've got a fit Gareth Bale who's probably going to get...
Or chuck an extra 70 million, you're probably going to get Salah.
Yeah, there is that as well.
If I were buying, I'd take a look at Hazard.
Yeah, but that's
That'd
what I
be
mean by
so
why
fun.
did they let Douglas Costa go? They need wide talent. They've got Kingsley Coman. Ian Robin signed on for another year, and you imagine he's going to get a lot of games. I don't know about Frank Ribery, but Ryan's a little bit of an odd one.
Yeah.
Depends what sort of manager they get next. Well, I don't know. Kovac. What's
no idea what he
Kovac's
is.
playing style?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we should next question.
Oh, good.
Pedro.
Pedro, you got a shocker there, mate.
Right, our next question comes from Dylan, and you've touched a bit on it earlier, but who do you think is going to win the FA Cup?
Go on, mate.
Manchester United. Yeah, I think United will beat Chelsea. I think Mourinho will be play a horrible style of football and grind out a scrubby, dirty 1-0. Romelu Lukaku bundling in at the back post. Goal. Yeah, I reckon Man United will win. Go on, Mr. Rude over here.
I was trying not to make noise.
What's your thoughts?
Mr. Rude.
Do you need a minute?
Don't care. Man United. You?
Probably United, but until you said that it was United-Chelsea, I actually couldn't have told you who was in the final. Right, it's been such a nothing competition.
The energy level from these two. Come on.
Well, no,
get it back up.
It's extremely dull, isn't it?
It's not extremely dull.
It's a very poor Man United side versus a Chelsea side that have like down tools. I mean, probably United, because Mourinho will be the only man out of the 2 managers and 22 guys on the pitch who actually cares.
No, well, Antonio Conte is going to want
Yeah, definitely.
But if Conte can leave with a bit of silverware, then it doesn't. His legacy isn't dampened as much as
100%.
Another failed, Chelsea second season syndrome. If he still leaves with the FA Cup,
all that is.
Because
who was that? Surely he was kicking it off.
now he's rude. I was bloody talking, you pair.
Christensen
Unbelievable.
just spanked it out to no one. He passed to Benitez.
And his pass accuracy is like 95%, isn't it? He's had enough. He's gone. He's going back to Gladbach.
Pass to Mike Ashley.
I agree. I think Conte. Yeah.
But Carlo Ancelotti. I mean, people quickly forgot about what he did in his second season at Chelsea after he did the double. And I think if he left with a trophy, then getting the next job might be easier. So there you go. That's my input.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going United. You're going United.
Yeah.
You're going United.
Yeah, the viewers.
We all think United will win.
They're the ones who will win.
What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Next question.
Next question is from Anthony Stewart. He says, who are the realistic/ideal transfer targets for the top 6?
Can we talk about how you pronounced Anthony? Did you say Anthony?
I said Anthony Stewart, yeah.
It's
I don't know.
Why? What's the matter with you?
It could be right.
Could be right.
It could be
What's
right,
the
could be
matter with
wrong.
you? Where are
Let us
you from? You're a disgrace.
Anthony.
Thames, favourite moment from the stream so far?
That's a tough question.
The TV nearly turning off.
Yeah, the TV nearly turned off was fantastic.
That must be a City goal.
There's been a reaction from the City.
1-0 City.
Yes!
100
City have
points.
scored
Who
100
scored?
points, baby. Pep deserves it.
More importantly, who assisted it? Was it Sané? Was it De Bruyne?
I've been killing it on fantasy football. Now I'm out.
Yeah, I've finished top of the league.
We all
Lost
want to
in the
know.
playoffs.
Can somebody please get the live update of how Zach versus Sean Jacques is going in the final of the Football Daily Fantasy
Oh
League?
God,
Hold
the
on.
final is between.
Zach and Sean.
Right, so has Zach won Football Daily's Fantasy League? A guy
Full time, by the way, Chelsea.
who we
haven't
all
just
know
lost.
and love,
No, we don't.
but he's an absolute chancer.
If it had gone on the league, I won by a million miles, but it went to playoffs and I lost to Zach by 4 points.
Sour
Get
grapes.
over
mate.
it.
Jellab's bested you again.
Sour great. Where did you finish? I don't know. The only person who was worse was him.
Hey.
Bottom of the league.
But anyway,
Zach is on 25
Right,
points.
sort of
Sean is on 31 points.
Hey, bombs, bro.
Horrible performances from both of them.
oh, so Sean's probably going to win.
Sean is probably going to win.
That's mental. Right, anyway, moving on because no one knows who
Oh, I
Sean
don't
is.
know. Yedlin
Um,
comes in for Sam.
Anyway, it's full time. Chelsea have won. Have lost 3-0. Liverpool, I think, have won 4-0. Man City going to break 100 points.
Should we get a roundup of all the results?
I think
round up of the
I think
results.
Zach-
KDB assist, by the way, which means KDB goes the most creative for the season.
I mean, not all games are finished, but the games
Let's
that
go
have
over to Social Corner for the results, yeah?
just the full-time score so far. So Arsenal have finally picked up some points away from home and won 1-0.
Whee!
Man City have won 1-0, so they've hit 100 points. Liverpool 4-0. Crystal Palace 2-0. Manchester United 1-0. Newcastle 3-0, as you know. Stoke 2-1, so Swansea have gone down officially. The game's still ongoing at Burnley-Bournemouth, which is 1-1. West Ham-Everton, which is 3-1 West Ham. And the best game of the day, Tottenham 5, Leicester 4 is still going on.
Nice one, Tim. See if you can get this in your mouth.
Got him.
You ready? 3,
Go on,
2, 1.
That
Oh,
was
soldier Sean.
terrible.
And again,
It's
and again.
absolutely terrible.
3,
Go on.
2, 1.
Oh!
It's gone back in the bowl though.
Oh.
Brilliant.
Let's get a question then.
Oh, sad
Was
Chelsea
that-
fan
Next
though.
Didn't
question.
answer the last question, but okay.
Oh no.
What was the last one?
Mate, that first throw crumbled in my hand. It just went.
What was the last question?
Last question was ideal transfer targets for the top 6.
That's a beefy question.
Man City,
We've already discussed Man City. Skip.
Man United,
Go on then. Take centre stage.
essential to Toby Alderweireld.
Be a great
Key
sign.
for me. He'd be the best signing we could possibly have. So if it's just once, Alderweireld, if I get a second, then another central midfielder.
And a right back and a
Probably.
left back.
Less concerning to me than the central midfield area.
I agree.
But yeah, I would also like fullbacks.
Especially when Ashley Young's going to play another 50-game season. according to Mourinho.
Next one down. Who's third? Who finished third? Tottenham?
Liverpool.
Liverpool because Tottenham.
Oh no, Tottenham are winning.
Oh, Tottenham are winning.
Tottenham are
Is
winning.
it still 4-3 or 5-4 or?
No, it's 5-4 to Tottenham.
It's 5-4 to
That is
Tottenham.
mental. How has that defence conceded 4 goals?
They always down tools the last day of the season.
Go on,
don't they? Attacking midfield depth, definitely. I mean, like
at Tottenham.
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes type would be really good. James Maddison from Norwich in the Championship they've been linked with. That would be really good.
Will anyone ever move for Julian Brandt?
I don't know. Julian Brandt hasn't had a great couple of seasons, and he's kind of been. Havertz and Bailey have definitely been shining.
Leon Bailey, yeah.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, this is loud.
Just
loud
really,
coughing.
sorry, I'm really emotional. The stream is nearly over.
Well, now that Benitez has
Yeah.
won 3-0. Yeah, I don't know. I think that probably attacking midfield depth is really where they're struggling.
Yeah, I
Liverpool
think.
next.
I actually think Tottenham need another central defender as well when they lose Toby Alderweireld this summer.
Yeah. Of course,
And
you're
obviously
right.
sold
They
Villa
have
and can't
got
replace him.
Juan Foyth, who they brought in from Argentina
Yeah,
last time.
oh, yeah.
Pochettino rates quite highly.
Still, I think they'll bring another one in.
No.
And maybe another left back as well, because I think they'll sell Danny Rose this summer, which will probably be in the form of Ryan Sessegnon. But anyway, who's the next team?
Liverpool, wasn't it?
Spoken about Liverpool, haven't we already?
Yeah.
So Chelsea.
Everyone.
Everyone.
I think we've spoken about Chelsea as well.
Um,
Manager being key.
And then Arsenal, coming down to your side, Pato.
Certainly a couple of central midfielders, a centre back, right back depth. Attack-wise, they're probably pretty sorted, but could do with a young, fast winger. But I really think if you solve the central midfield, you help out the defence a lot. And the central midfield is a calamity. Like when you look around at it, you've got like El Neni, Ramsey, who's got a year left on his contract and doesn't play central midfield anymore. Wilshere, who's out of contract. Cazorla, whose leg's hanging off. I mean, it's not great.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. So should we get one last question then from Social Corner before we wrap up the stream? Maybe do who won the awards as well for the manager and the player and stuff.
Done it.
Oh, we've done it. Fair enough. Which wasn't
A
controversial.
reiteration, maybe.
Yeah, the whole time. We can go over it again if you
Well,
want.
player of the season was obviously Salah.
Yep.
Manager,
Was Pep Guardiola.
unsurprising.
Unsung hero was Roberto Firmino.
And the big one.
And the big one, the fan of the season, none other than Swaggerto. FPL t-shirt coming your way.
Cool, last question.
Go for it.
Maybe make it about Barcelona. Sorry, because that's obviously
Well-
that game's still on,
Yeah.
still coming up. No, but just that's what you're going to ask.
Will they
Sorry.
finish the season unbeaten? Do you think they'll do it?
Nice. Thinking on your
Nice,
Will they
Thames.
do it?
Will they finish the season unbeaten? Yes,
now they
obviously.
will.
Because you can still watch that game, can't you, Joe?
You can by clicking the link in the description below and getting your Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass, 25%
energy.
off, and you can watch Barcelona smash the Invincibles record in Spain.
Yeah, I think they will. Levante. Actually, I'm not sure if their defence has been okay this season. I want to say that it has been, but I always get Levante confused with several other sides. Yeah, I think. How many goals has Messi got in the league?
Many.
32.
A lot.
Probably.
So he's gonna finish top goal scorer convincingly, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Ronaldo. Who have Real Madrid got in the final game of the season?
I mean, you're asking questions, no?
Well, they played
Yeah, I'm not
they
sure.
played Celta.
Trying to build
weekend
it to
already,
it.
didn't they? So I
Hear
don't
an
know who they've
argument.
got after that.
Yeah, I think they will. Are you with me?
I 100%
Should we
think they
get
will.
Liv's question after that?
Yeah, go on then, Liv. What was the final question?
I thought the final question should be maybe predictions for next season.
Okay.
Swagger said we're digging this out.
All right. Okay. So, Premier League winners: Manchester City.
Yeah, I agree. Should we just do our top four?
Top four.
That's better.
Top four and Champions
So
League.
you do your top four.
Okay, my top four: Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Tottenham.
Okay, my top four are going to be Manchester City, Liverpool second. I would like Tottenham to finish third and Manchester United to finish fourth, but I think it will be Man United third and Tottenham fourth.
Yeah, same as Hamill. I think Spurs are better than Man United at the moment, but somebody's going to get injured next season. It'll be a problem.
Yeah. Okay. So Champions League winners.
There's a pug on television. I'm holding
Next
straight.
season, Champions League
Yeah.
winners.
Oh, Real Madrid.
Yeah, Real Madrid. No, Manchester City next season.
Hopefully. Yeah, because didn't. It's wild speculation. I was going to say I saw someone put Pep is possibly going to leave in 2 seasons' time. So I'd like for him to secure his legacy.
2022 Brazil. Pep Guardiola.
Win the Champions League with the City, because he had a lot of semi-finals at Bayern. I think 4 maybe.
He got to all of them, didn't he?
Yeah, where he was extremely unfortunate in at least half of them, particularly against Real Madrid, which must have been painful for him. So yeah, a Champions League send off for Pep next season.
Yeah.
I'd like Paris Saint-Germain to do it under Tuchel.
Ooh,
That'd be
that
fun.
would be
You
great.
heathen.
So anyway, that's the end of the stream for today. Thanks so much for watching Fan Hour and this watch along. If you want to watch the Barcelona game this evening, make sure you hit the link in the description. Get your Now TV Sky Sports Day Pass for 25% off. It's well worth it. Thanks to you boys for joining me. I don't know whether you're going to throw that over me, slightly concerned. Social Corner as well for getting involved and for watching at home.
I didn't even cack himself.
Please don't do that. Bye.
See you later. So long. End of the stream. We're sure it's
Okay.
done?